You are tuned in to G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as you come on in. Put the chips down, put the plate up, get your drink. Come get some of this good boxing talk. As you can see, I got my main man with me, my right hand, VP Shane. What's going on, bro?
I'm good, man. Just last live was really good. So there's a saying we say, I don't know if they say it in America, but they say it in England. They definitely say it in Jamaica as well. And it was so nice that we had to do it twice. I don't know if they say that in America.
Yeah,
We say that over here.
that's a old school saying here. Yeah. But that's definitely the case. Yesterday's live was crazy. Big shout out to everybody that was in it. Whenever you're talking Manny Pacquiao, Errol, Spence, it's going to bring the masses out. We got the family up in here early. King Louis in the building. What's going on, bro? Yeah, boxing is just on a really, really nice hot streak right now. And yesterday's live went so good that there were some people that jumped on. I feel like they didn't get a chance to really express themselves the way that they wanted to or didn't have the time to. Shane, you had to jump off. YSM had to jump off. It was just a bunch of moving parts. But we had to do a part two. So big shout out to everybody going forward. But Shane, we were talking about Al Haymon and what he's been able to do over the past couple of weeks. Give the people a little bit of insight on just basically our conversation that we had off camera, basically.
Yeah, so what I've seen, which is probably the most eye-opening thing for me, was what I see with Al Haymon is he's the guy in control of boxing right now. He's the one who calls the shots, and he's kind of, I don't know if this is a word, but he's he's turned it into a monopoly in a sense where everything anybody wants, they have to go through him. The biggest players in the sport, they can't exist without Al Haymon. And I would say where Eddie Hearn's dropped the ball and Bob Arum's dropped the ball is they have this thing where their relationship with their fighters, aren't as strong as it should be. So we've seen with Bob Arum many times fighters and him and his fighters fall out. We saw that with Mikey, we saw that with Zerdo, we've seen it with Teofimo Lopez, and eventually we're going to see it with Crawford, where guys getting frustrated. We're seeing it with Eddie Hearn, guys getting frustrated. So Al Haymon keeps his fighters on side, but he also tries his best to keep it in-house. We know Eddie Hearn, when he's building up a fighter, he don't care where the fight is, he don't mind sending him out to the wolves. And he even said it himself, he's a bit naive in that sense where sometimes you got to keep things in-house. And Bob Arum is getting quite up in age. I don't think he cares enough to really be putting in that effort. But Al Haymon, he's really on top of everything. And for those who don't know or don't agree with me, I'll give you a quick recap. Every big name in the division can't move without Al Haymon. Crawford can't move without Al Haymon. Canelo, he wants to be undisputed. In order for him to be undisputed, he's got to go see Al Haymon's fight. And if he wants any other fight, he's got to see. If he wants that Benavidez fight, he's got to go see Al Haymon again. If he wants to go down to 160, he's got to go see Al Haymon with Charlo. He mentioned Charlo. Obviously, he's got to go see Al Haymon with Charlo. You look at AJ, Tyson Fury, they couldn't do what they needed to do because of Al Haymon's fighter and what Al Haymon has done for his fighter, putting them in that position. So giving them the legal understanding, and basically he's on the top of the world right now. So all of the big fighters in the sport, they can't move without Al Haymon. And you look at his roster, you look at the fights that he has coming up with the Charlo and Castano fight, big fight. You look at the Gervonta Davis fight, big, even though it's not like massive, but it's still a big fight. You look at what he's doing with Errol, Spence, and Pacquiao. That's a mega fight, arguably one of the biggest fights of the year. So Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, another big fight. So he's got so much stuff going on right now. It's hard to argue with the fact that the guy who's got the most control of his fighters and most control of the boxing landscape is the person who's on the top of the division. And I don't think Bob Arum or Eddie Hearn has enough control, which they would admit to themselves.
Yeah, let me shout out a couple people, and then I'm gonna touch on that a little bit more. Conrad Boxing is in the building. Big shout out to Conrad Boxing. See, just listening today. Great topics. Appreciate you. My bro Clarence McLean is in the building. Big shout out to you, bro. Let's see. Now, just to piggyback off of what you were saying, like Al Haymon is literally Final Destination. Like he's literally Final Destination. Like no matter what road you take, main road, back routes, don't matter. It all leads to Al Haymon. And you know, as far as Canelo, you know, he would have to see Caleb Plant. And this is why I pay attention to what Al Haymon be doing, because he offered Al Haymon offered Canelo a 3-fight deal for $75 million. Canelo turned it down. So now Canelo's going to need Al Haymon to go undisputed. So Al Haymon's going to be like, what about that 3-fight 75? You understand what I'm saying? So
yes.
It's that monopoly.
Why is that? Why that's so significant is because what Eddie Hearn and Canelo's trying to do is 1-fight deal, 2-fight deal with networks. They ain't trying to do nothing long term. Well, I know Canelo's got that in mind, where 1-fight deal, 2-fight deal. He ain't really trying to tie himself down. Al Haymon don't work like that. Al Haymon, either you with me or you ain't with me. And he don't mind holding his fighter back from making millions or making a mega fight. We saw him do that with Wilder and AJ. He don't mind doing that because he knows by playing hardball down the end, by playing hardball, in the end game, you're still going to be in the guy in pole position. You're still going to be the guy calling the shots. So even with or without a belt, you're still going to be that guy. You look at Deontay Wilder. He has no belt. He hasn't even been in the. He hasn't fought in over a year, but he's still probably arguably the most talked about fighter in the sport, and he has the most control of the heavyweight division right now, and that's just a straight fact.
Yeah. The one thing about Al Haymon, he's not gonna give up control or power for short-term big money. And I think that's the reason why he's still, you know, on top of things from a business aspect. Dead Game Boxing, big shout out to you, bro. I got my family up in the building, man. DT3 the Boom, man. Big shout out to you, bro. If y'all not subscribed to DT3 the Boom, man, I don't know what's going on with y'all. Y'all need to go subscribe to him. My bro Rocky Rodriguez is in the building. He said, isn't Mikey able to work with Al in the zone? Mikey's able to pretty much work with whoever. To be honest with you, I just think I found it quite ironic that he's tying himself to Josh Taylor now after he said he'll never work with Bob Arum. That's why I said you can't talk things like that in the atmosphere because you never know where your road going across. You know what I'm saying?
This is probably why the reason why Eddie Hearn's in the situation where he's in. Because when he first came to the American market, he made his fighters free to fight wherever they want. And he also kept doing this 1-fight deals with fighters. He also kept doing this thing where he will bring other fighters to come and fight his fighter for the belt, and they have no long-term contract with him. I can remember the Jose Ramirez. He did that with Jose Ramirez. He did that with Kevin Farmer and Jojo Diaz as well. You know, where he brings these guys over, 1-fight deal. They lose the fight or win the fight. You know, he has no ties. And he was paying these guys massive money that weren't sustainable. And he was making them active. So whereas Al Haymon, I'll pay you massive money, but you're fighting once a year. Whereas Eddie Hearn, you look at what he done with Kevin Farmer and Demetrius Andrade and Michael Hunter. He was paying them a lot of money. And they were fighting so regular, that's not sustainable. And we're seeing it right now. He's feeling the backlash of that.
Yeah, and the thing is, these promoters are actually doing things business-wise that's not necessarily the smartest to get themselves in the game. So I think under normal circumstances, I don't think Eddie Hearn would have been doing a lot of the things that he's been doing in the States. But because he knows he's basically on Al Haymon's turf, you know, he's trying to do what he can to get his foot in the door and then try to work things out afterwards. But Al Haymon is impossible to really budge, really. Like he's just, the roster's too big, the money's too long. And the thing is, he has network connections. That's the main thing. That's the
Can I
difference
ask you a
between it.
question? What does he do if Wilder loses?
What does he do if Wilder loses? Nothing, really. Nothing. He just continues to go about his business. I mean, of course, it'll be best for Wilder to win, but that is a make or break fight for Wilder, not Haymon. The roster.
Now I know, but he likes to keep control of money divisions and money fights. You know, some divisions he lets go. We just saw that with Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez, but that division didn't really have much status on a worldwide, like to us hardcore fans, of course it did, but on a global scale and in terms of publicity, it didn't. But fights like AJ Wilder, Fury, those Canelo, those guys generate ridiculous amounts of money, large sums of money. So I'm pretty sure he's not going to want to step back out of that and be in a position where he's isolated.
Well, I mean, as far as your question, when it comes down to it, if Wilder wins, then he controls a lot. If Wilder loses, he has absolutely no stake at the heavyweight division. None. He would be the B-side in every single situation. Wilder coming off of 2 straight losses, whoever he fights is not PBC, whether it's, you know, it doesn't matter who it is. He will be kind of like B-side, you know what I'm saying? Also, you know, when it comes down to it, that's really just a make or break fight where PBC can really be up here, or if he loses, it down here a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But Bruce Goulds, big shout out to you, bro. My bro, L Dub, what's going on? One of the best doing it. L Dub, we gotta figure out a date, bro. We gotta figure out a date.
Literally got a live for you. Literally specifically for you.
We specifically got a live for you. But we can talk about that off camera. Make a date and a time. I wish we could do it where we're live on both channels at the same time. Like, I don't know if that's possible, but
that's a good point.
Yeah, I gotta look into that. Yeah, I gotta look into that. You know, I ain't tech savvy at all. I go to Shane for that. Like, for real. I need a thumbnail. I'll be like, yo, Shane, I need a thumbnail. Like, for real. Hold on. Yeah. So let's get into this. LW say cool. All right, cool. Let's get into this Errol Spence Manny Pacquiao fight, August 21st. The thing is crazy that the year has been so good. This may not even be the top fight of the year. That's how good it is. That's how good it is.
It's hard to think of what fight's going to top this. It's hard to think of what fight will top this.
Wilder Fury 3 is going to top this.
I don't think so.
Hold on, what's the criteria we talking about? What's the criteria we talking about?
In terms of what? In terms of what? What do you mean? In terms of what?
Are we talking views? We talking set? Hold on. I gotta stop. Hold on. Listen. Al Haymon has arrived. We have arrived. Al Haymon has arrived. Bro, take over. Give me like 5 minutes.
So the real Al Haymon's here. I'm glad the real Al Haymon's here because this live is pretty much, I'll say 40% about the real Al Haymon. And the reason why that's so important is because we ain't seen Al Haymon for, I guess, years. You know, this guy is basically hidden in plain sight, you know, and he still has so much control over the division. What we're talking about, Al Haymon, is we're talking about how much control Al Haymon has over the division, and how even though it's a shame. I'll get into the comments in a second, and how what's it called? how much control Eddie Hearn has, Al Haymon has over the division, and basically every mega fighter in the division, money wise or fame wise, is basically what's it called? Relies on Al Haymon to make their moves. They're stationary until Al Haymon is the one to call the shots. Canelo, AJ Fury, Crawford, they all need Al Haymon. Al Haymon here. Look, I don't know. Raw Al Haymon says, "Do you want to go live?" Lord, we're already live. Rocky Rodriguez is laughing. Shane, are you off your pills? Bro, obviously I know it's not the real Al Haymon, it's just banter, bro. It's all a joke. The real Al Haymon, Eddie is a crook. I don't know what crook means. I think he meant to say crook. Maybe, I don't know. Clarence says, where are you from? I'm from London. I'm from the UK. But yeah, basically that's what the live's about. Part of the live's about how much control does Al Haymon have over the current landscape of boxing. And in my opinion, he has a lot of control, because not only is he putting out big fights, mega fights, he's also putting out fights where, in my personal opinion, it's legacy fights, but it's also massive money fights. And he's also been able to hold up his opponents. You know, his opponents being Al Haymon, Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn. You know, those are the three heads of the sport, and those guys can't get their elite fighters to where they want to be without Al Haymon, which to me is just credit to how good Al Haymon's been, and his, like, obviously this guy's always been a smart guy, so you have to give this guy credit. The real Haymon says crook. Sorry, yeah. I mean, I don't think Eddie Hearn's a crook. I'll keep it real. I don't think Eddie Hearn's a crook. I think there's many things Eddie Hearn is, but I don't think Eddie Hearn is a crook. I think Eddie Hearn is very naive. I think Eddie Hearn doesn't understand the landscape of American boxing and American boxing fans. I think Al Haymon doesn't, Eddie Hearn doesn't keep a professional barrier between fighter and promoter. That's what I think. And I feel like Eddie Hearn also sometimes gets lost in what he wants and what boxing fans want. And I'll accuse him of that. I wouldn't call him a crook though. Clarence McLean said, salute London. Yeah, salute. I will buy your channel if you talk real. Bro, you can't buy the channel. That's just a fact. There's no buying the channel. There's no buying the channel, bro.
A big shout out to Uncle Al Haymon, man. We have finally made it. Uncle Al is in the building. Hold on. Let me take a look real quick. Okay, so I ain't really missed. Hold on, Pat. Damn, Pat coming at your neck. He said, Shane, are you off the pills?
I think he thought I was serious about Al Haymon being the real Al Haymon. Obviously not being the real Al Haymon, I guess. Obviously.
Hey,
like,
man. Listen,
I mean,
hold on. DC3 know what it is, and King Louis. I'm like, well, we got a fake Al Haymon up in here. It is what it is. He said, Eddie's too desperate for small cash. You know what?
I wouldn't say. Can I answer that question? I wouldn't say he's desperate for small cash. What you got to understand is Eddie Hearn's born with a silver spoon. Unlike Al Haymon and shout out to Al Haymon for getting up on the come up and that. Unlike Al Haymon's been on the come up. I mean, Al Haymon's been on the come up his whole career. Whereas Eddie Hearn, he's born with a silver spoon. So money's never been an issue. It's about a legacy for him. And in his mind, his dad started something and he just wanted to be the global version of what his dad was. You know, it's a bit of ego. I wouldn't say it's money. This guy's born rich. It wouldn't be money.
And let me add on to this, the real Al Haymon. That's just funny just seeing that shit. But the thing is, Eddie Hearn is Al Haymon in the UK. Right. So Eddie Hearn is trying to come to a whole new country and plant his feet. It's just like Al Haymon trying to go to the UK and plant his feet. there's a pretty good chance he's not going to be able to pull it off because he's just outside of his element. You understand what I'm saying? So what Eddie Hearn is trying to do in the States, he's going against the grain. He always was going against the grain.
And you can't just go on.
And this situation is not about money. The situation is not about money at the end of the day because the Zone has probably more money to play with than BBC does. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you really want to break down who's behind the Zone, like there's literally billionaires behind the Zone. And I'm not saying that there's not billionaires behind PBC, but PBC is more of a hedge fund where the Zone is more, I guess, more of a corporate type thing. A corporate type is a different type of business setup. You understand what I'm saying? So it's difficult for Eddie Hearn to do what he's trying to do in the States, but I commend him for trying.
Well,
so,
even you have to give this guy credit because when I mean what this guy's done for British boxing is tremendous. He's done tremendous things for British boxing. I'm not even going to lie to you. He took British boxing out of the dark ages into what it is now. That's just a fact.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
To be fair, it was only America that was speaking. There was at one stage where Britain was just trying to parallel America, but he went and he tried to be bold and take over America. And the truth is, he hasn't done that yet. But he is working with two of the biggest. Well, he's working with the biggest fighter in America, point blank period, right now. So whether you want to credit him or discredit him, that's just the facts. And do I think Eddie Hearn do I like Eddie Hearn personally? I don't dislike him or like him. I don't really care. Do I want him to succeed? I don't care. His money ain't my money, so I don't care. But the facts are the facts. This guy is attempting to do something that no promoter's ever done. Not Al Haymon, not Bob Arum, not Frank Warren, not anyone. He's not Don King. He's trying to go to different countries. He went to Saudi Arabia. He's been in Italy, been in Spain, been in England, been in America. He's trying to do this on a global scale. And if he fails, he's failing to do something great. That's just the facts.
Let me say this before I move on in the comments. Now, real Al Haymon. Now, the channel is not for sale, right? The channel will never be for sale. But if you want to negotiate some payroll opportunity where you can throw G5 Jeff TV on the payroll, you know, depending on the terms and conditions, we might be able to work something out, you know. But you know, that's off camera though. That's off camera. Pat, nah, Shane, you've been tripping since last night. Yeah, I might have to get Pat. Hold on. I got it, Shane. I got it. Pac, I don't know where you're used to being as far as YouTube channels and things like that. Whenever I sense some smoke, I don't wait for the smoke detector to go off. I can put the link in and you and Shane can just have at it. Like that's how we do over here.
You're saying I've been tripping. You gotta give me
we don't know. We don't know what you're talking about.
Myself,
we do not know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
We don't know what you're talking about. Tell him is in the building. He said, send the link, please. Tell him don't be playing no games, yo. He like
wait, we'll go into that in a second.
Yeah, Terminator, send the link. These are the same two from yesterday. The real Al Haymon, he's not. Eddie is just an intruder in our country, a bacteria. Hold on. He says, send a link. Me and my boy want to join. Okay. Pack, LOL. The Zone is like a pound land. I'm Al Haymon. I'm gonna get to all of this in a second. I'm gonna sum all of his up in one shot. He ain't never going to take over America. I agree with that because it's just not him, but just Al Haymon just got too much pull.
But
Eddie Hearn is like the Elon Musk.
Does Eddie Hearn, in my opinion, I don't think Eddie Hearn needs to take over America. That's just me being honest. I don't think. I just think he needs to be a player. He just needs to be a player in the division. That's
But I think Eddie Hearn is a realist though. Like I think he knows he can't take over America. So I'm King Louis, I'm glad you said that. I think he knows he can't take over America. I think he just wants to be one of the players in America, exactly. which is a different goal to set. that's a different goal to set. You understand what I'm saying? So I agree with you, but there's just something to that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. He's already knocked one of the heads off the totem pole, in my opinion, who was Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya was seen as the third biggest promoter in the States. Now it's Eddie Hearn. That's just the facts.
And then let me get at this one. Real Al Haymon, Eddie is a joke. Trust me, he plays it as a hardworking man, but in reality, he's just a cheap hustler. Let me get at that real quick. Al Haymon, now this might cost us our deal, our payroll deal that I'm trying to negotiate with you. But I'm gonna say this to you, and I wouldn't be me if I didn't say this. Shane and I are privy to a good amount of like behind the scenes information, detailed information, things like that. If you want to say Eddie is a joke, that's cool. If you want to say he's playing like a hard-working man, that's cool. The one thing that I will not say is that he's a cheap hustler. We have seen some, and Shane, you know what I'm talking about. We've seen some paperwork, some financial paperwork. Seen some financial paperwork as far as Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and all of that. Bro, when I say he's far from cheap. Like he's far from cheap. I can't get into it more than that. But trust me on this one. He's not a cheap hustler. If you want to call him a hustler, that's cool. I think all promoters are hustlers. But to say that he's cheap, that when I say that's furthest from the truth, that is furthest from the truth. Tell him is back at it. He wants to join. Tell him I am going to put the link in the description. Give me a little bit of time. I'm going to cook. We're going to cook up, and then I'm going to put it in there. Pac, you're tripping when you said Pac-Man on drugs if he wins. LMAO. I'm just saying he's never been caught. Can I respond? Can I get it there? Hold on. I know. Can I listen? I'm gonna be quick. I'm gonna be like 30 seconds. Pac, I'm gonna read your comment again, right? And this is why I'm like Shane has a point. It says you're tripping when you said Pac-Man on drugs if he wins. You laughed and you said, I'm just saying he never been caught. The key words is never been caught. So the fact that you said that gives Shane comment validation.
Exactly.
I'm leaving it there. Go ahead.
The reason why it gives me validation is because you didn't say he ain't never took drugs. You said he's never been caught. So for someone to be caught, that means they're doing something and they're just getting away with it. The fact is, I'm not saying Pacquiao's on drugs. I will never say that publicly. What's in my mind is different. I'll never say that publicly. I know guys be getting guys done for slander and stuff like that. I ain't doing that. But just because you ain't been caught don't mean you ain't on drugs. That's just a fact. I can give you so many fighters off the dome who's had 30, 20 odd fights and they've never popped dirty and all of a sudden they pop dirty. That's
a fact. That's a fact. Al Haymon said, I will crash him in pieces very soon. He can't be a player on my land. Bro, Al Haymon, I like you, yo. I like you. L Dub, he said Eddie coming to America actually made the other promoters step up their game. Competition is good. That's a fact.
Bro, that's a fact. That's just a fact. That's just a fact, bro.
Yeah, that's definitely a fact. King Louis, let's be real. Eddie be having shitty undercards.
I disagree with that. I think he has bad undercards when he's in America. If you watch Eddie Hearn's undercards in England, his undercards are dope. I don't know what you mean, bro.
Yeah, his English. I don't know, King Louis. You going to come back in on that? I don't know if you mean his U.S. Cards. If you're talking about the U.S. cards, then I agree. I'll agree with that 100%. His undercards aren't as good as I would like. But the UK cards, usually the undercards are pretty.
Let me ask you a question. Did you not see his undercard when he had AJ? Every AJ undercard, there's no undercard better than AJ's undercard. That's a fact. Yeah, no fighter has better undercard than this guy has Hergovich, Hunter, Povetkin, AJ, all on one undercard. and Dylan White all on one undercard. That is ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, King Louis, you got to come back in and let us know if you're talking about the U.S. cards. If you're talking about the U.S. cards, I can agree with that. Pac, he said, you're not the real Al Haymon. The real Al Haymon is too quiet.
But Pat, you're running away from my point, bro. You gotta address me. Don't address Al Haymon, address me. Because you said I was talking. What's it called? The next comment.
He did address you. We just handled
No,
it.
but I readdressed that statement and I told you why.
Okay. Oh, you want to come back in? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Terminator. Man, anyone saying Eddie is a joke, just do what he does and then talk. Let me read that again. Man, anyone saying Eddie is a joke, just do what he does and then talk. I wonder if he's referring to the Terminator. Come back in. Can you clarify that? Because
he basically means anyone who's doing what anybody's saying is a joke, do what he can do. Basically, try walking the shoes, basically.
Oh, okay. Will Stokes in the building. Big shout out to my bro Will Stokes. Said facts. Terminator Eddie is the best promoter in boxing, 100%.
He might be the best promoter in boxing, but the truth is he's a very naive promoter, and in my opinion, sometimes he makes rookie mistakes. So he might be the best promoter in the sense of being a promoter, like he tries to promote his fighters.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually controlling the sport, like a promoter is like, as much as you want to say it, Don King is the greatest promoter of all time. No matter how crooked he was, whatever you want to say, he's the greatest promoter of all time because he was a promoter. If you go to 100 people on the street, name me a promoter, the first person they're gonna say is Don King, he doesn't even promote anymore. So, and we're
talking about actually doing a promoter's job. I want to make that clear. So when we say Don King is the GOAT, we're talking about Don King actually doing the job of promoting a fight, a fighter, a card. We're not saying that Don King is the GOAT of all time, just period. We're not saying that. We're talking about a promoter has a job to do. So when you see Will Stokes making a comment saying Eddie Hearn is the best promoter in the business, he's talking about him actually getting out there and actually promoting a card. He's probably the only person in the sport that actively promotes. Like he actively promotes, and you have to promote yourself in order to promote your cards and your fighters. So what would be crazy, yo, and this is just a hypothetical. Imagine if Eddie Hearn was the direct promoter for Al Haymon. His shit'd be through the roof. It'd be through the roof. It'd be through the roof. Like
the problem is Eddie Hearn masquerades as fighters' friend a lot, and it's a conflict of interest because what Don King showed me and Bob Arum showed me is you can't be a friend and a promoter. You can't. You have to be one or the other because personally, your interest and a fighter's interest ain't always the same. We've seen it many times where Eddie Hearn's in a situation where he owns a fighter, and the best thing for the fighter is for the fighter to go across the street. But that ain't the best thing for Eddie Hearn's company. So there's sometimes going to be conflict in interest. So to me, he's got to be able to draw the line. There's too many times where he does these one-fight deals, and for fans, I love it. But for his company, ain't always the best thing to do because we see stuff like when Viterbius came and he was working with Eddie Hearn. One fight, he's gone. Romero came. One fight, he's gone. Came. Remember, all of these guys beat his fighters and they left. Jojo Diaz came. One fight, gone. But they beat his fighters. So really and truly, it's like you have no control. Canelo even done it with Danny Jacobs. One fight, gone. That ain't the best way to do business for your company.
Yeah. If I had to say there's one chink in the armor as far as PBC, the fact that they use different promoters and it's really just, it's really showcase and they're not really doing the job. Like you take like Lou DiBella. Lou DiBella been in the game for 20, 30 years plus, and he's just known as a guy he's almost like a contractor. Like when you talk about the best promoters in the sport, nobody ever mentions Lou DiBella. Lou DiBella's put in plenty of work in the sport, but he just doesn't get the recognition because he's always known as the guy that kind of just, he's the fallback guy that people get, like, and he's kind of been the fallback guy for Al Haymon for years, so there are levels to the promoting game. You know what I'm saying? But actually doing the job that we're saying, Al Haymon is the biggest entity in the sport. We're not saying Eddie Hearn's bigger than Al Haymon. Al Haymon and PBC is the biggest entity in the sport. But in terms of actually doing the promoter job, Eddie Hearn is the best at actually doing the job. Al Haymon, yeah, I'm gonna run through him. Eddie is the best crook in the US and best promoter in the UK. He's definitely the best promoter in the UK. He's trying to make his moves in the US. Al Haymon, I have a question for you. Are you usually this talkative in private? Because I would like an interview if this is, Will Stokes completely agree, Shane. Eddie's undercards on his Canelo shows has been poor, but his English shows are fire. Even his Boazzi show the other day, weak main event, but great undercard. Yeah, that main event was horrible. Real Al Haymon, I had a drink tonight. This is why I'm not quiet anymore. Oh man. Pac laughing. Will Stokes 3 European title fights and an English title fight. A couple pro debuts. Yeah, his UK undercards be solid. Real Al Haymon, Don King is the real golden boy. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Tell him, send the link. Tell him I'm gonna send the link, bro. You done asked about 4 times. I got you. He's too cheap. I don't think Eddie Hearn is not too cheap. It's just Al Haymon, you got so much pull. It's only so much money he can throw around. Remember Al Haymon, nobody can make a move unless you sign off on it.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. L-Dub, I like how Eddie does 30 to 45-minute update interviews on his stable of fighters. I like that as well. I also like the fact that he'll jump on Instagram Live and touch on some things as well. So L-Dub understand what we're talking about.
Another thing, yeah, I've witnessed myself. I've witnessed this myself. I was at Eddie Hearn's show, and Eddie Hearn got interviewed by every single person of the media. Everyone. There was at least 15 different media people, and he gave each and every single one of them one-to-one interviews. Even if you had like 50 subscribers, he was giving you an interview. Bro, do you remember when you went to your first Eddie Hearn show? What was it? What Eddie Hearn show did you go to? That was
Devin Haney and Abdullayev.
Like, yeah. He will give everybody like a chance in terms of press. Like, he'll get interviewed by anyone. Yeah. We know Al Haymon ain't doing that. Al Haymon even get interviewed by PBC. And
the only interview Al Haymon is giving is being on his live right now. That's the only interview he's given. And he already said he had a drink, so this ain't even like legit. Will Stokes go through some of the most under-promoted fighters in the sport. Crawford would be huge. Shields would be huge. Taylor would be huge. The list goes on. I think that's more of Will Stokes. I think that's more of a sport problem. There's a lot of guys that deserve more shine and they just don't get it. L-Dub, I'm going to my first Matchroom show this weekend. Haney Linares. L-Dub, you on the move, man. Hey, L-Dub, are you gonna be vlogging while you out there? Like, are you gonna be working, or you just going to enjoy the festivities? Will Stokes, only fighter I can name who he couldn't crack was Hunter.
That's a lie. I can name many fighters.
I can name a bunch of fighters. He might be one of the most recent ones, but I can name a bunch of fighters. Other than that, he makes you a name. That's not necessarily true. That's not true. That's not true, bro. Real Al Haymon, thank you, brother. Hey, Al Haymon, we appreciate you, man. You know what? I'm gonna do this, man. You can holler at me in the DMs, you know, the email. You know, we talk future business. First of all, we need press credentials. I don't even need a contract with you. We need press credentials to all of your goddamn events. You get us that, we cool. You know what I'm saying? We'll work around everything else, man. The underrated darkness, big shout out to you, bro. Salute to you in the panel in the chat. Big shout out.
I don't think I've seen him before. Is he new?
No, he's on Facebook, so he's cool with Clarence McLean and that whole crew. He was on live with me yesterday with
the one with the door.
Yeah, it was his people though. Yeah,
oh,
he's doing it big on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw that live yesterday as well.
We gotta get her on too. I seen her videos. She a monster. 12 years old. 12 years old. Wow. She's 12. Yeah, it's crazy. We got the general in the building. BoxingFirst Vlog. Big shout out.
You need to jump on, bro. I've been waiting for you to jump on.
Yeah, BoxingFirst Vlog. Put in the comment section whether you can or can't jump on. I don't know if you're at work or not. He said this is a 50-50 fight. Talking about Spence and Pac. You agree with that? We're gonna get into that in a minute. When Al Haymon was in the chat, he kind of just threw things off a little bit. Will Stokes said no. I'm saying if they were all with Eddie, that's how it'd be. Oh, okay. So you basically saying if Eddie Hearn had the Al Haymon type power. Okay. I still disagree with that, but I see where you're going with it. Real Al Haymon is so funny seeing you that you don't believe it's me for real. Brother, the only way I'm gonna believe that's you is unless I get, you know what? G5JeffTV@gmail.com. You email me and we get guaranteed press credentials for your fights going forward. And I'm talking myself, Shane, and BoxingFirst Vlog. You give me that in the email, I believe you 100%. But you remember, Al Haymon, you said you've been drinking. So I'm taking your words with a grain of salt because I don't know if you like brown or you like the light. I don't know.
Either way, if you're real or fake, your subscription and your like counts the same. So subscribe and like.
Absolutely. Will Stokes, who else can you think of?
Well, Andre for one. He ain't made Andre the name. He ain't made Dimitri Bivol a name. He ain't made Kevin Farmer a name. He ain't made Usyk a name. He didn't make what's that guy Jesse Vargas a name. He didn't make there's so much fighters he hasn't made a name.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But Will, this is the thing though. The reason why he hasn't made any of them a name because the contracts, the contract lengths are short. It's impossible to make a name out of somebody when you only sign a 1-fight deal, 2-fight deal. Like it's not feasible.
Even more than that, some stuff are just out of his hands. Like for me,
that's true too.
He's tried to do everything to get Andre the big fight, but just can't get it.
Yeah, pretty much. Bruce goes, he said, I will look after you boys. Hey man, we appreciate it, man. Even Underrated Darkness said, Al Haymon, thank you. We appreciate it. Man, in fact, throw Underrated Darkness in there too, man. Get him a press credential as well. Will Stokes, well, I know for a fact Al Haymon don't type smiley faces like that. He said, I like you, boo. You talk real, hey man. That's what we try to do. BoxingFirst Vlog. We ain't even started talking yet. It's been.
I'm energetic because all of these guys. This is what I know. These guys are all talking all of this when I jumped off live. But when I was on live, nobody weren't saying nothing. I watched the live back and I see one of them comments, guys saying, "Oh, Shane is saying this, Shane is saying that." But when I was on live, no one would say nothing. So I'm here.
BoxingFirst Vlog says send the link. I'm gonna send it in a couple minutes, bro. Shout out.
As soon as you finish these comments. As soon as
I finish the comments, I'm putting it in the chat. He said I'm all in for the brown. See, I knew you was a cognac type guy. I knew that. He said Will Stokes says, yeah, I'm saying Crawford, Taylor, Shields, Charlos, Fury would all be much bigger names if they were with Eddie.
I think Fury's already a big name. As big as
I think It just comes with the territory. I think those guys will be more active. I think they'll be more active. They will be better promoted. But to say that they will be bigger, I'm not really sure about that. But again, I understand where you're going with it, bro. Usyk a name. What do you mean?
Not globally.
Not globally.
No, globally.
And I think and I think that's what we're talking about. When Shane and I say we disagree with you, we're saying global. When you say somebody has a name, we're talking global. Like, for example, if Anthony Joshua, and I've used this example a couple times with Shane off camera, but I'll say it now. Always say, if Anthony Joshua walks down the street in America, there's probably a pretty good amount of people that won't know who he is. Wilder walks down the street in the UK, he gonna need security. Am I correct?
But it's just because boxing is just such a bigger sport in England than it is in America.
Right. So
I give you a something that's funny that people might not know. I live in the UK, and when Wilder had his arbitration and he won the arbitration, that was in national newspapers. I guarantee you that wasn't in national newspapers in America. I guarantee.
No, the only place it was at was social media and ESPN because because Tyson Fury was there. That was the only reason.
Wilder was the face of that news article, not Fury. Wilder. So that was in the UK.
That was in the UK. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. Will underrated darkness, great live. Appreciate you, bro. The other ones I'll give you. Andre is a fair one for sure. Yeah, definitely. Okay, share your. I don't know what he's trying to say there. Usyk has $1 million on IG. There's Instagram models that got $1 million on IG. Yeah, so that don't matter.
There's like 80 million people that live in Ukraine. How much of that are going to be from Ukraine? It's from Ukraine.
And it's about 10, 15 big booty hoes that got about 1 million, 2 million followers on Instagram, and I follow them faithfully. I'm not even gonna sit up here and lie. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Will Stokes, how many fighters can you name who have that? He talking about 1 million.
But this is the difference though. Usyk is a big fighter in his country, so he's gonna have a lot of followers. That's like there's no Instagram in Ukraine.
Yeah, like that's like saying that you know, like Terrance Crawford's not gonna have a lot of followers in Omaha. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Underrated darkness. Share your live. I got you.
Let's put a link in there while you're.
I'm gonna put now. Let me get this disclaimer out before I put this in the chat. I think we can only get a max of like 8 people in here. So when I put this in the bro, this shit about to get crazy. Sometimes I be thinking I'm a goddamn fool for doing this shit. But I'm letting y'all know right now, BoxingFirst Vlog has an automatic spot. So that's 7.
Well, let's not even say that, because BoxingFirst Vlog is the team. He's part of.
But that's I have to say that because that's one slot. That's one slot. So it's 7 slots available. Okay. So if you jump on, I'm gonna just introduce you, but you gotta sit for a couple minutes because I'm gonna wait for more people to come on live. And then I'm gonna tell the order in which you gonna go, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. So I'm gonna read this last comment, then I'm gonna put the link in. Go ahead, take that, Shane.
1 second, I can't even see my screen. Yeah, he's a name in Ukraine, but so many guys aren't even big names in their own countries. But if he's the best fighter in his whole way, if he's the best fighter in the country, obviously he's gonna be support. Look at who's that guy? Yildirim. Yildirim's massive in Turkey. Don't mean he's a big fighter. He just got a big.
They had a whole parade for him prior to that Canelo fight.
Exactly. So it's not.
Take that last one, Shane. Take that last one.
Remember that video where Fury walked down the streets in LA and no one knew who Wilder was? To be fair, that's a bit. I don't.
He might have paid all them people, yo. You never know what Fury.
I don't live in America, so I'll never make statements. I don't live in America.
Okay, I got to take these last two, and then I got to after these last two comments. I don't care who comments after that. I gotta put the link in. Lenora Thomas dropped the link. I have a little time right now, but not a whole bunch of time. And Will Stokes, ain't Crawford the best fighter in America, and why no one knew him? Well, again, like that's part of a sports problem. That's a sports problem, and to be honest with you, that's part of Terrence Crawford problem too, because he kind of took like that Gary Russell approach where he felt like he can just come into the ring, dominate, and that should make him popular. It's bigger than that, because Broner ain't half the fighter Terrence Crawford is, but he's more popular than Crawford.
Facts.
That's a fact. I'm gonna open up the floodgates. I'm gonna regret this shit, but
it's gonna be funny because I know
it's gonna be funny.
It's about Pacquiao and Crawford, Pacquiao and Spence, Pacquiao Spence. That's what the live's about.
This is Pacquiao and Spence.
So I'm gonna kick it off by saying what I said yesterday. I stand by. Personally, I think that Pacquiao has aged since then. I don't know for a fact, but I think he has. But if I'm talking about prime Pacquiao, I think prime Pacquiao would beat Errol Spence, and I think he would beat him pretty comfortably. I think in terms of just when you put the ingredients of what Pacquiao brings and what Errol Spence brings, it favors Pacquiao. It favors Pacquiao quite a lot. You know, I think it was YSM who said Errol Spence fights like an Eastern European fighter. And he fights like a more old school Eastern European fighter, not even the new school, because the new school Eastern European fighters at least got a pivot. They at least got a bounce.
I don't think YSM said that. I think the way he was describing Errol Spence, somebody in the comment section asked him, do you think he fight like a European fighter? So what I'm doing right now, I just sent the link to BoxingFirst Vlog because I want for him to get in here first. And then I'm gonna drop the link in for everybody else to jump on. Because I don't want to
just drop it in the live, because what you could
I would have, if I do that, I'm gonna have to drop somebody. I'm at the drop.
No, but you just don't accept them into the live yet until Blunt.
Okay, so all right, cool. That's fair enough. All right, perfect. He's in here, and I want to see what his audio sound like anyway. Yo, wake your ass up, yo.
What's good, bro? What's
up with you? Hey, get your shit together, man. Get your shit together, man. What's up with you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
It's out of sync, bro.
It's out of sync. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
This is why I wanted to get him on first.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it another.
Hold on. All right. Hold on. Yeah, we good.
You straight? All right. So for the people that don't know, that's BoxingFirst Vlog. That's the third member of the team. That's the general, you know what I'm saying? So bro, we about to put this link in the chat. So we about to get a bunch of new people on here, man. So we go. First of all, Vlog, give your opinion on Pac and Spence before we
put the link in while he's put the link in and
yeah. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, cook up, bro.
It's 50-50, bro, if you really look at it. You know, understand what I'm saying? I don't know who made that Eastern European comment, but it's not exact, but he's not fluid with his footwork. And most European fighters aren't fancy foot fighters. You know, you have your phenomenons like the Prince Nassim guys and things like that, but that's rare that them guys are known for sliding around the ring like that. You know, Billy Joe or somebody like that. But as I was saying, so I kind of do agree with that slightly. But looking at this fight, you got to look at it, comparing it to Pavlik and the OG from the city, B-Hop. You understand what I'm saying? When people say, "Oh, he don't have the experience," or hold on a second, bro. I'm trying to move this van back. All right, but yeah, my bad. But like I was saying, so you got to give that OG experience a lot when it comes to this style of fight, because you got to admit, Spence. No, I'm trying to get out dude way so he don't run off the curb. I didn't know you was back there. But anyway, Like I was saying. Stop standing behind the man, goddammit. So anyway, bro, like I was saying, this fight reminds me of that Kelly Pavlik B-Hop fight. And I do give the OG that edge, or at least bring it 50-50 in my view, just because of the experience.
Okay. So Vlog, you got a little background noise. I'm gonna put you on
Yeah,
mute.
mute. Go ahead, bro.
Just,
you know I'm in the van.
Yo, just put a hand up when you're ready, and I'm gonna unmute you.
All right.
Hold on. Hey Shane, can you mute him? Because I can't mute it from my screen. My icon in the way. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So all right, so we got Lenora Thomas in the building. What's going on, bro?
What's going on with you, man?
Ain't nothing, man. We got the #1 grinder in the building. What's going on, family?
I'm good, fam. How's y'all and the family doing?
Everything street.
Shout out.
Everything street, man.
I saw that live. Yes, I saw that live yesterday as well. So shout out to you for that as well. That live on.
Yeah.
I saw it on Jeff's live, but I know everybody had the same live. So
yeah. Big shout out to you, bro. #1 grinder, definitely doing big things. You know what I mean? For sure. Big shout out to you.
Appreciate that.
Hey, no problem. Lenora, we gonna let you cook first.
I'll mute my mic.
No. Oh, okay, cool. Lenora, go ahead and cook up, man.
Yeah. I got about 20-25 minutes today. Because I got work, but I wish you would have.
Hold on. Now your lady not gonna interrupt us this time, is she?
It's not. No, it's work. It's about money.
I'm just messing with you. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. But I'm free tomorrow, so if you guys going live,
we'll be back on tomorrow.
We'll be back on tomorrow.
Do your thing, bro.
Yeah. So about what was the topic that we left off yesterday?
Spence Pack. Anything Spence Pack you want to talk about?
no, we left off where he was saying that he felt that Errol Spence was athletic.
Oh yeah.
And YSM was saying that basically he's not, when you compare him to elite athletic fighters, he's not at that level.
Well, I mean, I was debating that he was, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. He was arguing that he was, which I strongly disagree with.
Okay. Yeah, I still stand by what I said. Because if again, athleticism is kind of hard to measure because there's no way to prove it, right? I mean, like you can say, oh, you can, if I wanted to be bold, I can say, oh, Errol Spence is more athletic than Roy Jones was, even though I know that's not true. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's good. That's hard to measure, athleticism.
I feel like it's quite easy to measure.
I do think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I feel like it's quite easy to measure when you look at comparables. So I'll give you an example of an athletic fighter, and me and Jeff were talking about this today. Personally, Eubank Jr., for example. Me personally, he doesn't have the fundamentals of Errol Spence. Nowhere near, nothing. He doesn't have the technique, anything. But raw athleticism, he has it in abundance. And if you look at, for example, how he throws a punch, how he uses his feet, how he uses his muscles, it's different. To me, I feel like when you look at Errol Spence, he's a very fundamentally sound fighter. And that's what YSM was saying, he's a 7 across the board, 8 across the board. But when you look at him, he doesn't have that athleticism where you're like, okay, this guy's an athlete, where he wins fights purely and simply off his physical attributes.
I don't think he is as high as somebody like a Porter, somebody like a Wilder. I don't think he's quite that high, but I would still put it at an elite status when you compare him against somebody like a Kavaliauskas, somebody like a what's that brother's name? Died at 140. I'm trying to name 147 pounds since we're talking welterweight, because again,
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you everybody on the panel a question? Quick question. Who's more athletic? Yeah, and then we're using 147 straight up. Who's more athletic? Josh Kelly or Errol Spence? Jeff, go first.
far as just pure athleticism?
Not skills, just athletics. Just athleticism.
Yeah, Josh Kelly's physically more athletic than Spence.
Go ahead,
Oh,
bro.
let vlog go. You gotta unmute him though. You gotta unmute him.
I'll mute 1 second.
Yeah, unmute him.
Go ahead, bro.
Spence is more athletic.
Okay,
Their
I'm
footwork
gonna
is about the same.
How?
Their footwork level is about the same to me. But upper body,
I was gonna
shoulder
say,
movement,
and
Spence is more athletic that way.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I was gonna say, to add on to what he's saying, I don't think Spence is the most athletic. I don't think he's compared to Crawford or Porter, he's more, but compared to somebody at a level below him, I do think he has enough athleticism to call him elite.
So you think he like middle of the pack?
I think
like middle of the pack.
a low level elite, enough to call it elite athleticism, but still not a Crawford, not a Porter, not even a Thurman, but enough to call elite.
You think he's more athletic than Josh Kelly?
I haven't studied enough for Josh Kelly, so if it's something I
Fair
don't
enough.
know, I won't be.
What about you, Grinder? What about you, Grinder?
Hold on, I think I got him on mute. Hold on a second.
Okay, I got him on.
You got it? Me? Go ahead, bro. I got you.
Well, I would say this. I watched Josh like maybe 2 times, so I'm not going to assess with him. But I would say that to me, I see Spencer's athletic because I used to play ball. So play ball is all about coordination, all about footwork, all about how to move your body. And I thought, and Spence to me is, he's a juggernaut. It's like the times I see him, he just get better and better and better, and his footwork and his coordination is impeccable that I have not seen for a long time. For me.
Okay, so go on.
No, I'm good.
I didn't want to talk over you, but this is the thing what I like to say. Yeah? I feel like everybody has these judgments because, and I said this yesterday, when you're fighting a stationary fighter, like Danny Garcia, like Mikey Garcia, when I mean stationary, I mean fighters who like to fight stationary, who fight with flat feet. It's very easy to they don't expose your vulnerabilities in terms of moving. When he fought, the one mover that he's ever fought, who's an athletic fighter, who I would say as an athletic fighter, I saw that he wasn't as athletic as he was made out to be, and I also saw a lot of mobility flaws, like in terms of walking backwards, walking forwards, walking left and right. He doesn't have a pivot at all. He doesn't have a pivot, no way in any shape or form. Very, very, very. He's got the wide stance, but he drags his feet across the floor instead of bouncing. To me, that doesn't get exposed against a Mikey. That doesn't get exposed against a Danny. But that gets exposed against a Sean, and that gets exposed against a Prime Pacquiao, because those guys, they play with range much faster than a stationary fighter.
But that's why I said that. Well, I'm saying now. That's why I said I do believe Spence is not the most talking if you compare it to a Crawford or a Porter, but he is more athletic than somebody like a Danny Garcia, somebody like a Kavaliauskas, somebody like a Mikey Garcia.
I can agree with that.
I can agree with that.
Even though I mean, at the end of the day, even though Porter was jumping in and out, we have to say that this was consistency with Porter, because Porter makes a lot of his opponents do that. He did it against Berto. He did it against Thurman, and those guys had to fight. Those guys couldn't just sit there and try to box. They had to fight that big beast off of him, and that's
the reason why that's such a. Sorry, Grinder. Go ahead, Grinder. Go ahead.
Grinder, go ahead. Do your thing, bro. Go ahead.
No, because I'm gonna say one thing because I gotta get up. I think the thing is that we have to understand that when Spence was fighting, nobody never really pressured him. He never had a fight that somebody could make a move. So most of his fight, most of the people he fought against was stationary. So what I'm saying, we got to take that under consideration too. What I would like to see a fighter that can make a move and stuff, yes, but we got to take that under consideration too.
No, that's a fact. No, but Grinder, that 1 second, Blunt. The reason why that's a fact, Grinder, and I feel like what your point is so significant is because, in my opinion, I'm not saying that he's not or he is, but I'm going to reserve my judgment until I see it happen, see him do it successful. I haven't seen him do it successfully yet. Like in terms of his athleticism against Porter, it was other things other than athleticism that made him win that fight. So until I see him do it again, I'm gonna reserve my opinion. That's basically
I totally agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Like for me, I see him athletic because I see certain changes that when he was making, how he moved his body, how his footwork and stuff like that for me. But I had to say it again, but at the same time, he hasn't fought anybody yet to make him change stuff. So just the way I feel, man. If there's nobody ain't gonna make me change up, I'm just gonna add on until somebody make me change up. And I think that's the thing that I'm glad that you're talking about that nobody do not like to talk about. And I think until if a fight that comes and change, like everybody talking about Pacquiao. People say, Pacquiao moving stuff like that. I understand that. If you talk about 15, 16 years ago, Pacquiao, yeah, maybe you could talk of that. But we talk Pacquiao, he's 42. So this is what I'm saying, that maybe Pacquiao have to fight a certain way, because if he move around, yeah, he can move around if he wants to. But the thing is about that, we got to understand, what about the stamina when we go to the mid rounds and the later rounds? And I think that is the key about, for me, is that if Pacquiao is going to change, because we know that Spence is not going to change. So
that's a fact. Go on, Blunt. Go ahead, Blunt. Because you wanted to speak. Go ahead, Blunt. Oh wait, let me take you off mute.
Take you off mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, go on. Go ahead.
Now, what I was going to say about that athleticism part, if anybody can bring it out of Spence in this fight, it will be somebody like Manny that uses ring movement. He's going to make Spence come forward. So we're going to see Spence's ability to cut the ring off, really apply the pressure, and go for the knockout sort in this fight. But can Manny move, stick in, get in and get out, jab to the body, circle around, that pivot move? Manny still good at that pivot move. So can things like that be effective, that he can win on the scorecard? Because we know Manny's not going to really go for the knockout. It will have to present itself, but I doubt if that happens. Spence been pretty sturdy with the chin, not in deep waters, and not really hurt, even though, Porter put that pressure on him, and you got to admit, he didn't break under that pressure, bro.
I get that, but the one thing I would say is, and I feel like everybody's like ignored, is the fact that if this is a prime Pacquiao, I can't say, I don't think it's a prime Pacquiao. I feel like this is going to be an aging old Pacquiao. But just hypothetically speaking, if it is a prime Pacquiao, one thing Pacquiao does better than Porter is, they both probably have, and Jeff said this the other day, they both probably have similar foot speed, but Porter's hands are slower than his feet. So what you end up seeing is Porter ends up smothering a lot of his work because he steps in too close and he doesn't really get full extension. Whereas Pacquiao, he steps in just enough to get his hands to get the maximum extension, and he does get punches off. That's the difference.
Let me get in here real quick. Leonard, let me address the athleticism thing as far as Spence is concerned.
And can I ask you a question before I just?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm not sure, because you've been asking questions. Who are you going for?
Who, me?
Yeah. Who do you think? Well, not going for, but who do you think is going to win logically? If you had to, who do you think would win?
I think, and I'm glad you asked that, because that leads right in what I was getting ready to talk about.
Because I have to staple you down to the wall because I don't know.
Nah, that's cool, and I don't have no problem with that. So here's the thing.
I'm glad you asked that question.
I'm glad you asked that question, because you segue right into what I was getting ready to say. So to answer your question first, in terms of your issue first, in terms of Errol Spence being athletic. Yes, Errol Spence is athletic, but the one thing that I want to say is you don't have to be athletic to be technically sound. I want to make that clear. You don't have to be athletic to be technically sound. Some of the most technically sound people in the sport were not athletic, like Juan Manuel Marquez. He was one of the most technically sound fighters in the sport. He's not necessarily an athlete. Miguel Cotto is one of the most. Kovalev. Miguel Cotto is another one. You don't have to be athletic to be technically sound. I think.
Dare I say Andre Ward?
But no, Andre Ward is athletic. He is athletic.
Oh, here we go.
He tried to sneak that in.
That'd be controversial.
He tried to sneak that in, man. He tried to sneak that in. But being technically sound has to do with basics, fundamentals, your base. In terms of basics, fundamentals, and base, I think Spence is the best in the sport in terms of that. You can't get him out of his game. And people don't give him enough credit for that. People can't get him out of his game. Sean Porter was a guy that got him. He didn't even get him out of his game. Spence just had to get adjusted to what Sean Porter was bringing to the table. Spence never got out of his game. He never lost his base or anything like that. Sean Porter was just getting around his base and was working. You understand what I'm saying? So Spence is the best in the sport in terms of that. Now, in regards to – go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I'll say one last thing, so I'll let you cook. Sorry about that. And to add to that, that's how you know people like that, those tend to be the greatest fighters of all time. Floyd Mayweather Jr. never got out of his base. No matter the crowd. No, let me finish.
Let him go, Shane. Let him go. Go ahead.
So Floyd Mayweather, I didn't say he has a composure like Floyd, even though I do think he does. I didn't say that though, but Floyd Mayweather Jr., since we all know who he is, I can use him as an example. He's a guy who was calm under pressure. Again, he was a guy who stuck to the game plan. He was a guy who could adjust if need be to win a fight. And when you're calm like that in the ring, that is a very deadly attribute. That if you're calm like that and can think and have a decent ring IQ, that is a deadly attribute.
I agree, but what I was saying I disagree with was you then corrected yourself when you said Floyd adjusted in fight. Floyd was a good in-game adjuster as well. I don't think Errol is that great at in-game adjusting because his game plan kind of stays all the way through. I just think he's a slow starter. So he starts slow. He wants to get a feel of rounds, but he doesn't adjust.
I gotta disagree with that. He doesn't. He may not. He starts slow, but he still wins the early rounds.
I disagree with that.
What rounds has he lost early?
Sean Porter and Kell Brook.
But he was hold on, Lennar, hold on. So we're talking, you gotta prioritize the difference between a slow starter and someone just being in with better competition. He was in with better competition. It's not the fact that he's a slow starter. Outside of those two fights, he wins all of his early rounds.
I don't think he's been in with that good of competition outside of those two. I don't rate Danny Garcia that highly. That's just me being me.
But regardless, he wins. You said that he's a slow starter. When I hear slow starter, that means Terrence Crawford is a slow starter. There's multiple fights. There's multiple fights where Terrence Crawford has been down on the cards after 3-4 rounds. Yeah. Spence hasn't been in a situation like that outside of Porter.
Yeah, and Kell Brook.
I'm sorry.
And Kell, go ahead, Grinder.
Even with Kell Brook, that was a back and forth. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Grinder.
Go ahead, Grinder.
And also, we got to understand about Terrence Crawford. I'm glad you talking. I call him TC. I don't call him Terrence, but I call him TC. I'm like, but anyway. But if you notice that the fight that when Terrence Crawford fights, whenever he gets behind, he always switch southpaw, and that's when he finished. So that actually let me know that when he fight orthodox, you're not comfortable because that person, like, you're not really comfortable. Like I give you case in point when he fought a Killer Brook. If you see Crawford's eye, it was shining. It was shining real bad. And now all of a sudden they did it again when he fights southpaw. That's when Killer Brook will start losing. I noticed that about Crawford, that he always switch up.
It's because he can't period jab.
And I'm like looking like I thought that you're a fighter, you're supposed to adjust and stuff like that. And so I questioned that. I'm like, why you're supposed to adapt. Why you losing, you know. That's just me, But I gotta get ready to go. My email's is in the private.
I got you. So I got that jotted down, and I'll definitely be getting with you. But I appreciate you jumping on, and I'll get with you later on tonight.
Yeah, thank you. And peace to all y'all. Y'all keep up the fine work. Y'all knows what you're talking about. Man.
Really. Hey man, we appreciate you, bro.
Ryan said, what's good? YSM was good.
Hold on. YSM, I gotta give my bro a proper introduction, man. I gotta give him a proper introduction. My bro from the same city as me. We eat from the same cheesesteak spots. My bro, YSM Sports Media. What's going on, player?
Stop ducking me, Shane.
Yeah.
What's good?
As tradition, YSM.
When I see you for the first time in Philly, I wonder if they're gonna say the same thing.
Of course, he's gonna say the same thing.
But I won't be ducking him. I'll be face to face with him.
True. He would have flew across the ocean for the smoke. So yeah. That's like the ultimate pull-up. Yeah.
Right. That's a pull-up. I mean, go ahead, YSM, cook up, bro.
The dude was 100% right. A lot of people overrate Bud's defense. Now, I think Bud would beat Spence. But as far as defensively, Bud's not that good. Like, Bud can't parry a jab. His answer for everything is switching southpaw.
You know what, though, yeah? And this is me. I think Bud is his own worst enemy. Since he's moved to 147 and he's stopped everyone, he's actually regressed and he's fell in love with the fact that he's stopping fighters. When he was fighting at 140 and at 135, he was using a lot of lateral movement to avoid punches and to get in and out of range. He doesn't really do that anymore. Like, even when you watch him when he was fighting at 140 and 135, he wasn't really getting hit that much. Other than the Gamboa fight and maybe the Lorme fight, but even that fight, he wasn't even getting hit that much. He was using his feet to avoid punches. So I feel like he's fell in love with the fact that he's stopping everybody at 147. But
hold on. Hold on. I gotta get in the comment section because there's some funny shit going on in the comment section that I gotta address. YSL, you see I got Al Haymon in the building, bro. Who still getting Al Haymon in the building? Errol needs to see his blood results every week. Will Stokes said Josh Kelly's far more athletic, reflexes, movement, very high switch.
Far more athletic
then
we were saying physically.
No, he's not.
He's not physically more athletic than Spence?
No.
We're not saying better or anything like that, just physical attributes.
No, he's not. He's not more athletic than Spence. What he does is Spence doesn't have an athletic style.
I can agree.
You know what? I everything that I've heard, I probably agree with that the most.
I would agree with that the most.
I agree with that the most. He doesn't have an athletic style. Maybe he's more athletic than he's putting off because the style that
you guys are just giving him credit. You guys are not giving him credit.
I feel like him and Taylor are about the same athletically. Like, he's like, neither one of them are like. Are we gonna be honest? For a Euro fighter, Josh Taylor's athletic because you don't really see. No, you don't really see. Y'all don't really use.
No, that's a fact.
Y'all use a more.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Style. Lomachenko, Josh Kelly fight more traditionally like Americans, Black Americans.
I mean, it's not even just that. It's also, I have to bring back to race because I was saying this before you came on. Yard is athletic, but he's just not a great technical fighter, but he's athletic.
He's physically gifted. Yeah, Eubank is physically gifted. Yeah.
Eubank's physically gifted, but he have no technique. So
Eubank is really athletic.
He's really athletic. Hold on, Shane.
They're naturally athletic due to their race, and they're just them being black fighters.
Shane, hold on a second. YSM, this is a side note. Remember the guy that I was talking about that he didn't have a trainer?
Yeah, I called you about him.
He's actually training with Roy Jones and them.
Oh wow!
But I'll get into that later on. And David Flats know him as well. David Flats from New York. But I'll get at you about that later. I wanted to mention that to you though.
Hey, G5, you kind of got cut off. So who are you going for? You had your little soliloquy, and then you kind of got.
Oh yeah, that's true because he didn't. Bro, he didn't get cut off. He didn't say it. That's the answer. He didn't say it.
Well, no, so we went into other things, like because we love boxing so much, we're going to other things.
Nah, he's just ducking the question. That's all it is. He's just ducking the
question. I ain't ducking the question at all. Shane can't give me a legit boxing reason why Spencer win the fight, but I'm gonna get into it right now.
I know.
So No, you definitely did. Here's my thing. Like, if I had to put my check on it, no odds or anything like that. Of course, you have to favor the younger guy. You have to favor the younger guy with a better base. So I would say Spence in that aspect. Now, outside of that, okay, so I'm on record. I'm on record. If I got to put my check on it, I'm going with Spence. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm going with Spence, but I'm also gonna tell you why Manny checks off a lot of the boxes versus Spence. He checks off a lot of the boxes. So the reason why I would go with Spence is because I'm looking at it the first 6 rounds. How close is the fight within the first 6 rounds? That's how I'm looking at it. And I think Spence has an opportunity to have it even after 6 rounds.
Exactly.
Now, if Pacquiao was up 5-1, 6-0 or something like that, Spence is losing. But I think Spence can keep it 3-3 going into 6. Spence is very strong back half of the fight. If Pacquiao has the same stamina as he did against Keith Thurman in the back half of the fight, it's not going to end well for him. I think Spence can turn up back half of the fight. He did a great job adjusting against Porter in the second half of the fight. A lot of people felt like he swept the second half of the fight. I think Spence is that good. When you have that type of a base and you're establishing your jab and everything, and he throws it from all angles. He throws it to the core. He throws it to the body. He throws it to the head. And he consistently goes up and down. So if you need to slow a guy down like Manny Pacquiao, that's the type of guy that can do it. I think Spence will pull it off late. I can see 7-5 Spence, but he's going to have to drag Pacquiao into the back half of the fight. There's a pretty good chance Pacquiao is probably going to be up after the first half of the fight. But I think because Errol Spence's base is so strong, and his jab is so good, and he's the best at cutting off the ring in the sport. But I will say this though, I haven't seen anybody. Spence, he's the best. He's the best in the sport. Who's the best in the sport? Who's the best in the sport?
Cutting off the ring.
At cutting off the ring.
You think he's the? I have to disagree with that.
You ain't giving no names.
But
you ain't giving no names.
So I thought he was.
I think Viterbi is better than him. I think Viterbi is better. I think Viterbi.
At cutting off the ring.
I haven't seen anybody.
I got a question. I got a question for you, Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff, I got a question for you though. Who did he ever fight that could move?
That's my point, Sean.
Sean Porter.
That's my point.
Sean Porter.
Who?
Sean Porter.
But Sean Porter's not a back foot fighter. Sean Porter's not a back foot fighter.
No, but
he's not a back foot fighter.
No, but he had Sean Porter on the back foot during the second half of the fight.
Okay, but that's not my point.
He's not a back foot fighter, though.
He's not a back foot fighter.
Hold on. I'm saying, listen, it doesn't matter whether you're a back foot fighter when you're front foot, but if you're on the back foot, when somebody cuts you off, they're still cutting you off.
Okay, so let me explain. Let me explain my point why that's invalid.
Okay, all right.
Because Jeff said he's the best at cutting off the ring. So that means somebody is walking backwards and I have to go to them. He's never done that. Other than in the Mikey fight. And Mikey ain't no great back foot fighter.
Bro, who has he fought who hasn't backed up?
Bro, I'm talking about
answer my question.
But Jeff, you're not naming somebody who can move, who fights going backwards, who can move.
No, you ain't named one fighter,
bro. One person that he fought.
Bro,
you can't name one person.
Hold on, listen.
Just name one person.
Listen, I'm gonna name one person. Everybody on his resume. Nobody walks forward against Spence. Everybody walks backwards against Spence.
Let me explain.
Everybody.
Who is known for walking backwards? Let me explain why I'm saying this, yeah? When Viterbi fought Voltic is a back foot fighter. Viterbi walked him down and knocked him out. He's never fought a fighter who's known as a back foot fighter.
Shane, every time you go against me, you lose. I'm gonna tell you why, bro. Listen, bro. Shane, you just said, bro. Hold on. Why? Let me get this out of the way real quick. Shane, you literally within the last 2 shows, we sat up here and agreed that Beterbiev has regressed in terms of technical ability, and him doing the basic things inside of the ring. Did we not discuss that?
Yeah, but let me explain why that's invalid. Because guess what?
Wait. Go ahead.
The reason why that's invalid here is because with Beterbiev, wait, one second. With Beterbiev, where he's regressed is the sense that he's getting hit more. But guess what? He's still walking fighters down. He's still getting off the power shots, bro. He's nowhere near,
bro. That's not cutting off the ring.
Yes, it is, bro. Cutting off the ring is getting on the inside.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes, it is, bro.
Cutting off the ring, bro. Cutting off the ring is stopping the guy from moving around the ring. That's cutting off the ring, bro.
And you're telling me Errol Spence does that better than Beterbiev? There's no way I'm having that.
Yes, he does.
No way I'm having that. No way
yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, hold on. YSM, who's your top 3 in terms of cutting off the ring in the sport, please?
Oh man. To be honest,
because it's a lost art. Let me get that out the way.
Yes, it is a lost art. Active fighters.
Yes.
Active.
Yes.
Okay. See, I want to say this one dude, but again, he hasn't fought the most fleet of foot fighter.
Say the name, and I'll let you know if I agree with you.
Saul.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
No, he would be in my top 3.
Okay.
Cutting all the ring. In actuality, man, Bud.
Okay.
Bud.
Who's the third?
Who's the third?
It might be Spence.
So you guys are all saying, and this is my point. I have not seen any of those fighters fight movers.
Who's your top 3?
Who's
your top 3?
I've seen Beterbiev fight a mover.
Shane, who's your top 3, Shane?
I've seen you've seen Bud fight a mover.
Bud will be in my top 3 though. Bud will be in my top 3.
Yeah.
Bud will be in my top 3.
But when I said Bud, Jeff, but really think about it. Really think about.
I'm thinking in terms of top 3.
My top 3 is this: Castano, Beterbiev, and Bud. That's my top 3. And if you're telling me Errol Spence cuts off the ring better than Castano and Beterbiev, you're lying. You're straight lying.
Castano just puts the pressure on you. Castano just puts the pressure on you.
Bro, he's getting on the inside against everybody. He's getting on the inside against everybody.
Yeah, but he's doing it from a straight
Okay, wait, 1 second.
Hold on, we gotta get blunt. We gotta get blunt in. Hold on.
Wait, 1 second.
Get blunt in. Go ahead.
All I want to ask you is, who on Errol Spence's resume moves as good as Erislandy Lara? Answer me that question. Answer me that question.
What does it have to do? What does it have?
Because he's cut off the ring against Erislandy Lara, bro.
Whoa, stop.
Stop.
Gosh. Triple G cuts off the ring better than Spence too.
No,
that's another one.
That's another one.
But Triple G is in my top 3.
Okay.
Go on, let Blunt go. Let Blunt go.
Go. You gotta let Blunt go. Put Blunt on. Blunt gotta go.
1 second. Go
ahead, bro. Blunt, go ahead, bro.
All right, man. Top 3 people that cut the ring off. You got to put Crawford in there. You got to put Porter in there. And I'm going to throw a name out that might give a little wrinkle to the argument. Deontay Wilder.
Wilder?
He gets there. You know them people running from Wilder. Nobody's going after Wilder in the fight. So that means he has to go get them knockouts. So that you got to give him credit for being able to get to these dudes that want to avoid getting knocked out, and they still find themselves getting knocked out. So that to me tells me he gets to the points in the ring he needs to get to attack these guys. That's cutting the ring off.
I still ain't heard nobody mention Beterbiev. I don't understand why Beterbiev is.
He's not my top 3. He's not my top 3.
He doesn't
my top 3.
He doesn't cut the
ring
off.
He don't cut the ring off. His power cuts the ring off, not him.
Who? Deontay Wilder?
That's the dumbest thing
I'm
I've ever
talking
heard
about
in my life.
Beterbiev. That's
so stupid. That is so stupid. That is the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. How can you say his power cuts off the ring? That doesn't even make sense.
Hold on. No, it does make sense because when he hits guys don't move. That's what I mean by that. It's far from stupid.
So Boldick didn't move. Boldick didn't. You were there, bro. Boldick moved the whole fight and he cut off the ring.
Bro, but he felt the power and he stopped moving after a while. He stopped moving. He didn't stop moving because he was cutting off the ring. He felt the power, bro.
Wore him down with body shots and stopped him. That's
right, but that doesn't have nothing to do with cutting off the ring, bro. That has nothing to do with cutting off the ring.
Inside. He had to get on the inside, no? How did he get on the inside?
Bro, to be honest with you, he just followed him around the ring.
He followed him around the ring. He wasn't really cut it off. Bro, he wasn't cutting it off, bro.
And just punch
He wasn't cutting it off.
I have to disagree. I have to disagree.
Bro, he was not
until I see Errol fight a mover. Until I see Errol fight a mover, he can never be in my top 3. Never.
You see what I'm saying?
My top.
And that's the problem. And that's the problem.
Hold on, hey Lenar, what's your top 3, bro?
I was gonna say Spence. Then I was gonna say Triple G, even though he's kind of getting older, but Triple G's really good at it. And then I was gonna say either a toss up between Brian. I was gonna say actually like. I don't want to say this because he looks good against fighters who are not super athletic.
No, bro, say it.
Okay,
say
fine.
it.
Okay, Canelo.
Okay.
No, I like that, bro.
I like that
skill,
3.
though.
I like that 3.
We cutting off the little subtle movements. He makes a lot.
Yeah,
of
he makes.
Yeah.
I like what Canelo do. My top 3.
Triple Single said David Benavidez. He's another good one as well. David Benavidez is a good one.
Good.
Yeah, he's good too. Let me get it. The rest of these. Actually, I just want to get it one comment, yo. A BoxingFirst Vlog. The real Hal Haymon said, "What's wrong with BoxingFirst Vlog? He looked like he getting followed by the police."
Man, I'm telling you, Pimp. I used to be a bootlegger in my past life, homie. I be out here moving, bro. But we don't be out here fucking around on this road, homie. That's for them dumbass motherfuckers. I'm on a live doing like 85. You know, the stash game is lovely over here, Bill.
The truth is, the reason why there's a common trend in my top 3, very common trend. They've all fought movers. They've all fought movers, and I don't know how Castano and Beterbiev has failed to be in their top 3 when this guy's they both
Castano and who? Castano, what was up name?
Beterbiev, Castano, and Bud.
Bro, listen. Let me tell you, because I really want to get at the Beterbiev point. Like YSM said, he followed Vosdick around the ring. He didn't cut the ring off. His shots is what his shot. Hold on, bro. His shots is the reason why Vosdick stopped moving. It wasn't he stopped moving because Beterbiev was cutting off the ring. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Can I ask you a question? How did he get his shots off for him to stop moving? How did he do that?
He got close enough.
Then how did
you don't have to cut off the ring to get close. You don't have to cut off the ring to get close,
that's
bro.
A straight line.
No, that's not a lie, bro. That's not a lie, bro. That's not a bro. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example, bro. Don't we always say David Benavidez is one of the best in the sport at closing distance, right?
Yeah.
We say that all the time, right? So when a person closes distance, that means they're close, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that means a person can get close to somebody without cutting the ring off.
Okay.
You don't necessarily have to cut the ring off to get close to somebody.
The difference with Benavidez is he is someone who has better dimensions than the person he's fighting. So even when he's closing the distance, he's still in range. He's got longer arms and he's bigger than everybody he's fighting. Whereas in the case of Vosdick and Beterbiev, Vosdick had 4 inches on him, bro. But
my point is, you're trying to make it seem like the only way somebody can get close to somebody is unless they cut off the ring. I'm telling you, that's not true. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's not true.
Shane,
let's
get in, bro.
You lost that one.
You lost that one, bro. Honest to God, bro, you lost that argument, bro. You off base. I mean, we know you got a lot of knowledge in the sport of boxing, but you gotta step back and say that the OGs kind of got me on this argument right here, bro. You don't have to necessarily to touch somebody. You don't necessarily have to cut the ring off, bro. That's a fact. You can follow somebody around and get your hands on them, but you can make it easier by cutting the ring off.
Okay, so this is my point. This is my point. We're talking about someone who's as experienced and as good as Vosdick on the back foot. Vosdick is a back foot fighter comfortably. Every time he fights off the back foot. When Vosdick fought Beterbiev, Vosdick was pivoting, he was going around in circle, and he was going in the ring in the same direction. And he was still able to cut the ring off on the inside. So to me, I can't see how that's not cutting off the ring. I just don't see it. I don't see how that's not cutting off the ring. We're saying it like Vosdick went in the same direction the whole fight when he was pivoting the whole fight. He wasn't going in the same direction. Beterbiev had to get to him, and that's what he done.
Hey Shane, Shane, can you just answer that one question for me? Do you have to cut the ring? Is cutting off the ring the only way you can get close to somebody?
Of course not.
Yeah, right. So that's all I was saying, bro. That's all I was saying.
What you're saying that Beterbiev doesn't cut off the ring as good as Errol Spence when Errol Spence has never fought a mover that's as good as that's Brody. That's
And what I'm saying to you is that Beterbiev has so much power, he can get a guy to stop moving with his power and not necessarily cutting the ring off. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you're wrong. What I'm saying is he's not even the best. He's not even the best in the division at cutting the ring off, bro. Bivol's the better guy at cutting the ring off.
I disagree with that because personally,
we've been off camera and we said Bivol was the best in the division.
And we got the number.
No, I say Bivol has the best footwork, but I'm talking Bivol has I've said this before.
Darren put that in the wrong place.
I did.
Come on, you.
1 second. I've said this before, and I said this before. I said it on Lowdown channel, and I said it here. Bivol is never for consistent amounts of time been a matador. He's never been a matador where he's had to chase fighters for a long period of time because his long range game is as good as anyone on the planet. So he doesn't have to do that. But someone like flipping Beterbiev, this guy's whole entire career, all he does is walk fighters down. He walked every single fighter down. Every single fighter.
So what happens if Beterbiev if he doesn't have any power? That's how you can.
Yeah, that walking down means nothing, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a dumb question. Walking down in power.
That's what I'm
saying.
It's
not a dumb question. It's not a dumb question. The reason why that's a dumb question
is because you're saying, what if he didn't have power? If Errol Spence didn't have power, what would that be? That's my point. That's just a very dumb question.
His feet would still be able to cut people off. We're looking at the feet here. We're not looking. Listen, when you're hit so hard for a division, you don't have to have the best feet because your power is enough. And that's what he's trying to say. He's not.
Well, I'm not saying he has the best feet. I'm not saying he has the best feet. But what you got to understand is Beterbiev has a disregard for what his opponent throws. So all he does is walk people down.
That's a difference, bro. But that's different than cutting the ring off. You're talking about walking a guy down. When you're talking about walking a guy down, yes, he's one of the top 3-4 in the sport. We're not talking about walking guys down. We're talking about cutting off the ring. It's different, bro. It's different. We're disagreeing because we have a different definition of cutting off the ring.
My cutting off the ring is stopping your opponent from. Okay, your opponent moves. Can you stop your opponent from moving? That's what my definition of cutting off the ring is. That's what cutting off the ring is. Can you stop?
My point.
So stop your opponent from moving. So if you hit him with a good hard shot, then he stopped moving, right? So that's how absurd it sounds with your definition. Because I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like if you're going by your definition. But getting somebody to stop moving, that means that somebody who hits hard, if he hits you, knocks you down, or knocks you out, you stop moving, right?
But they have to get close enough to hit you. They have to get close enough to hit you.
Shane, I'll give you a really good example, bro. I'll give you a really good example because we have two different versions of what cutting off the ring is. I'll give you a prime person. They cut off the ring from their power and not the fact that they actually cut them off. Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
His movement was so good. Now we will all agree in the heavyweight division, he has the best feet of all time in terms of just quickness in the heavyweight division. He got guys to stop moving because his power and his footwork. But he didn't get guys to stop because he was cutting off the ring. What I'm saying is there's different ways to get a guy to stop. There's only one way to really cut off the ring. You know what I'm saying? There's only one way to cut off the ring. And when you say get a guy to stop moving, what I'm thinking is when we're talking about cutting off the ring, a lot of times guys circle one way, right? A lot of times guys circle one way. So when a guy's cutting off a ring, your footwork has to be on point to where you can get a guy to stop moving the way he wants to move and get him to stay stationary. So I want to get this clear, Leonard, before you go.
Mm-hmm.
Shane, I want you to understand. I understand what you're saying. We have two different definitions. We have two different versions of cutting off the ring. You're adding one element that I don't add. And that's the difference in the conversation. So is Beterbiev top 5 in terms of cutting off the ring? I would say he's been his last fight, he really didn't do well. But generally speaking, Beterbiev is top 5 in terms of cutting off the ring. I want to make that clear. Like, he's in my top 5. Like, that's a fact. He's in my top 5. But I feel like Beterbiev is in. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll ask you a question, and then if you maybe this will put it down. Where would Beterbiev be in terms of walking fighters down in the world?
Top 5.
He'll be top 5. He won't be in your top 3 or number 1 in terms of walking fighters down.
Top 3 probably. Off the top of the dome, I would say no. As far as being the top guy, he would probably be in my top 3.
So the reason why I'm just going to make my statement very clear. The reason why I said what I said, and the reason why I said that he's the number 1 guy in the division in the world at cutting off the ring, and obviously I get what you mean. There's a square, and obviously if someone's circling around how good you are cutting off the ring, I'll give you an example. When Usyk fought Chisora, Chisora was following Usyk around the ring. He wasn't cutting off the ring, but he was still able to touch Usyk in the early rounds. I get that.
Right.
I understand that. But if we're just talking about, there's a difference when a guy is showing you angles. If a guy is showing you angles and you're still able to get close to that guy and get on the inside, then it's got to be more than just following a guy around the ring. It's got to be more than that, because he's pivoting. So if a guy is pivoting, it's no longer following around, because I am switching where I'm going mid-movement.
Yeah.
He's still getting to his fighter. So
yeah, no, I feel you. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me ask this, because we're really, and first of all, for the people that's listening, y'all really got a treat, because Shane and I usually don't disagree on practically anything. So y'all got a treat with that one. But in terms of, let me ask this. Like, Shane already knew your answer. I'm gonna go Lennar, I'm gonna go with you first, and then Blunt, you jump in. What is your technical definition of cutting off the ring? Your version.
Well, you're talking about cutting off the ring.
Yes.
Strictly talking about cutting off the ring, nothing else, not power, not anything else. Just strictly.
Right.
I think when a fighter moves, and when you're able to put them in a corner when they're moving away from you or moving backwards from you, that is cutting off the ring. Because again, they're cutting off the ring. They cannot move. You're putting them in a corner.
Can I ask you a quick? Can I tell you why that shouldn't be?
Hold on.
That's part of a description, but the reason why I say that can't be a holistic description, because what about fighters that pivot?
Fighters that pivot?
Yeah, what about fighters that pivot?
Are you talking about
they fight in the back foot, and then when they reach a certain angle, they pivot. What about that? Because I saw in the Sean Porter fight, when Errol caught Porter on the ropes, Porter was able to pivot every time on him, every single time. Watch that fight back in.
I don't think he was pivoting. I think he was grabbing him and moving him. I don't think he was pivoting though.
So he didn't pivot. He didn't turn Errol at one time. He didn't turn.
I mean, but he grabbed. I'm talking about he grabbed him. And it was 3 times where he grabbed him and he pivoted off the ring. And yes, and he did do that. He did. There was times, like you said, he did, like when he was against the ropes, he turned and got out of that situation. But then Errol again was like white on rice and was able to get on him and cut the ring off. That's what I'm saying.
I've never seen anyone pivot on Errol. I mean, on Beterbiev. I've never seen it. I've never.
Let Vlog get in.
Go
ahead, bro. Cook up, bro.
Hey man, I was gone for a minute, man. I had to get some cars on the road, bro. But
no, I got you. I got him, Shane. Hey, Vlog, I got a quick question for you, bro. I got you.
Go ahead, talk to me.
Okay. What is your technical definition of cutting the ring off?
It's a section. It's where you making the fight happen. You stopping the guy making the fight happen in a certain area of the ring. It can happen in corners. It can happen along the ropes. Really don't happen in the center of the ring, obviously, but any section along the outside where you stop a guy and you make the fight happen, that's cutting the ring off. That seems simple to me.
Okay, so let me give mine real quick. So, I think cutting off the ring, like when I look at a ring, I break it down into 4 quarters. Like it's a square. I break it down into 4 quarters. If you can make a guy stay within 1/4 of the ring, you're great at cutting off the ring. Even if you want to go half of the ring, because some guys are just they're athletic. Like some guys are just gonna move. But if you can keep a guy on 1/2 of the ring to 1/4 of the ring and literally get them to stop moving where they want to move, I think that's my definition of cutting off the ring. Now, as this conversation goes, and Lenora, let me explain this to you, brother. What we do on here is even when we go back and forth about something, at the end of the day, we be like, you know what, that was a good point. You know what I'm saying? So I can honestly say Shane had a good point, because walking somebody down does have something to do with cutting the ring off. It's a part of the process. You have to walk forward in order to cut the ring off. You have to get to a certain distance in order to cut off their movement. So walking a guy down does have something to do with that. I also feel like foot placement is maybe the primary thing. And the reason why I say Beterbiev is good at it, the reason why I say Triple G is good at it, if you notice all of those guys, what they do, right? They don't have a problem resetting. They don't have a problem resetting. So when they reset, when they're walking towards the guy, they're walking towards the guy in the angle in which they're trying to circle the ring at. So if a guy's trying to if he's trying to circle to the right, Beterbiev is walking to his right to make him go the other way. Once he goes the other way, then he's following him, because he doesn't want to go that way. He's not comfortable walking to his left. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, it is a process with it. It's some guys, their power supports it. Some guys, their footwork supports it. You even take a Canelo. Canelo uses subtle movements to get his guy to stop. But if you look at the Lara fight, I can't say Canelo is a bad person at cutting the ring off, because Lara was getting out of pocket. I think a lot of times Lara was like damn near running in that fight. Like, you only can do but so much in terms of cutting off the ring. So I'm glad that we had this conversation, because there's a lot of different elements to cutting off the ring. And I think saying like top 3 is really being picky, because a lot of the guys that y'all named is probably in my top 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bud would be in my top 5.
What about my Deontay Wilder plug in the top 3? Who agree or disagree with that?
I can't. The reason why I can't disagree with that, I can't agree with that. Sorry, is because I feel like most of Wilder's fights he outreaches his opponent. So the difference with that is he doesn't even have to cut off the ring to hit most of the guys he fights, because he's so low.
All right, hold on, young boy, hold on. Now, so then you would be taking David Benavidez's ability to cut the ring off away from him for having long arms. That's kind of.
I said that already.
That's a little bit nitpicking, though, young buck. That's a little bit of nitpicking, though.
But blunt. I said that already. I said that's the same thing you just said. I said that about David Benavidez. Benavidez, because someone mentioned David Benavidez, and I said the difference with David Benavidez is he outreaches everybody he fights. So they have to be part of the work, because they have to come to him to get some of the what's it called? Some of that get back.
Yo, let me get at that. Let me get at that real quick. To be honest with you, bro, I really don't know. I really gotta. I never watched Deontay Wilder, and I'm thinking like, yo, let me see if he cuts the ring off. And I'm being dead honest, yo. Like, I'm being dead honest. I never watched Deontay Wilder inside the ring, and I was like, yo, let me see how well he cuts the ring off against this guy or that guy. So I really gotta watch.
He did an excellent job in the first Fury fight. I thought he did an excellent job in the first Ortiz fight. The second Berman fight, I thought he did a good job making sure he gets the guy where he wants the guy to be to get his shots off. And they also help
I
because
agree with that.
you're talking about guys that don't have the greatest footwork out of somebody like maybe Ortiz will have the best out of those guys that I mentioned, but it's still an ability even at heavyweight. And I think you got to give a guy like Deontay his propers with being able to do that.
Okay, so we can go through the comments here.
Let me go. I'll go through them.
Yeah, put me on, man. I'm about to jump on this road. We smoking and shit. You know what I mean? Doing 90.
All right, cool. So one thing I would say is we're gonna see the definition of how good cutting off the ring is. So if Brian Castano isn't good at cutting off the ring, he will get absolutely destroyed by Charlo. If he's good at cutting off the ring, that fight will be a difficult fight for Charlo to win. That's how I'm gonna leave it.
How you gonna say that after you put Blunt on mute? You know damn well he gonna want to get in on that. See, he talking already. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Blunt.
Hey, Castano is going to show good heart in that fight, bro, but he's going to lose a boxing lesson. Charlo is not going to make that a dog fight. He's going to outbox Castano. So I don't see Castano winning.
Blunt, this is my point. I agree with you because if Castano isn't good at cutting off the ring, it's going to be a boxing lesson. But if he is good at cutting off the ring, which I'm saying if, I'm not saying he is, but if he is, it will be an entertaining fight. I'm not saying he will win, but I'm saying if he's good at it. But if he's not good at it, it's going to be a boxing lesson.
I think it's going to be a war because I think that Jermell Charlo's attitude is, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. And Bud has the same thing. And that's a horrible trait to have because somebody's going to time you. Someone hit you with a good shot and you can get knocked out or hurt really, really bad.
Let me get in. Can I get in on that real quick, yo?
Okay.
As far as Charlo and Castano is concerned, I have absolutely no concerns about Castano cutting off the ring. He's gonna cut off the ring against Jermell Charlo. There's two things with Jermell Charlo. He can make this fight easy or he can make it really hard. If he wants to make this fight easy,
hey, I might lose you for a minute, but don't kick me off, bro. I'm driving through.
No, just click the link again if you cut off. No, you good. Go ahead.
All right, bro.
All right. So, Castano's gonna cut the ring off. Like that's a fact. He's gonna cut the ring off. Jermell Charlo's gonna have to make an emotional decision in this fight, which makes this fight fascinating. If he's emotional in this fight, then he's gonna have to show a hell of an inside game to beat Castano. Like, I don't think it's gonna have to do with him boxing because Castano's gonna cut off the ring. So I'm looking more so at Jermell Charlo's inside game than anything else. Jab and inside game. But if he gets emotional and turns this into a war, he could possibly lose his fight. His emotions is going to determine if he wins this fight.
I give it to you raw and real. Sorry for cutting you off. I give it to you raw and real, yeah. In my personal opinion, if this is a war and a shooting match, I have to favor Castano. Because I ain't ever seen Castano was like a freight train. This guy just walking forward all night long. I'm not gonna lie, Charles got a good power, but
I think he has the best pressure in the sport right now. I think.
Yeah.
What I was trying to say.
He'll even put Porter to shame. I mean, God, it's like got some of the best.
Porter to Castano, Brandon Figueroa. You could throw him in there in terms of being pressure fighters. What do you say, Shane?
I'm just agreeing with you in my head, like Brandon Figueroa.
Yeah, Brandon Figueroa is another one. Like this is certain guys. Like
I'll give you another one. Prime Chisora, bro. I know you might disagree, but Prime Chisora was the.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Older now,
yeah.
He's
I'll give you that.
Bro, if you remember Chisora when he fought Vitaly Klitschko, he was all over Vitaly Klitschko. He was on him the whole fight. And even in the first Fury fight, he was all over Fury the whole fight.
That's a fact. That's definitely a fact. Let me get in these comments real quick. Pack said Bud Chin is suspicious. I wouldn't say it's suspicious, but
I would. I would definitely say we could talk about that. I
Why?
would definitely say
Why?
because he got hurt by Gamboa, and this is a man. People like to talk about Errol and Mikey about how Mikey was so much smaller, but what about Gamboa and Bud? That was also a very small man who was able to make Bud's legs wobble from a shot. He's at 135. I mean, 135. So his chin is a little, again, suspect. Doesn't mean weak, but suspect.
But you know what though? But can I say?
Hold on. Let me. So I'm gonna take what you said, and I'm gonna double down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how long Terrence Bud Crawford been fighting? How many fights he got?
Like 39. You want to say 39 now?
About 39, 40?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So 39, 40 fights. He has not had one debatable fight, and now I'm gonna give you another one. You got the Mean Machine fight, and then you got the Gamboa fight. If a guy has fought 40 times and hasn't had one debatable fight and was visibly shaken twice, I wouldn't consider that being suspect.
Well, see, but again, you're talking about the quality of puncher you're facing. Again, when I mentioned the size disparity, like for example, Mayweather has a great chin, and he's shown to have a great chin. Why? Because he's faced punchers and took their best shot. He faced Shane Mosley, a hard puncher, took his best shot, and was able to survive. He faced Maidana, took his best shots, and was able to survive. And he has 50 plus fights now with the exhibition.
Okay, I agree. Can I answer that? The reason why I want to answer that is we're not saying that Bud has a great chin. We're saying he has a suspect chin. Suspect chins get found out against anyone. That's a fact.
That's my
suspect
point.
Chin get found out against anyone. If you have a suspect shaky chin, you get found out against anyone. That's just a fact.
Like Amir Khan is suspect and shaky. Like that's shaky.
Amir Khan just has a weak chin. There's a difference between being we know Amir Khan has a weak chin.
Who else would you consider have a suspect chin? Who else would you consider?
Anthony Joshua has a very suspectish chin. But
guess what? Anthony Joshua got hit by guys who don't have that. He got hurt by guys that don't have that much crack. He got hurt by
that's my point. Is when Bud goes in there with elite level power, good power, solid power, I wonder how it's gonna hold up.
I'll give you an example.
Can we agree that he has shown some vulnerability with his chin against fights who hit decent, but we're not talking about elite level power or great power. He showed a little bit of vulnerability.
Do you know outside of the two times we mentioned, is it any other time he was shaky?
Those guys he fought are not elite level punchers, and that's what I'm saying.
Can I ask you a question?
There's not many elite punches in the sport.
Okay.
There's not an elite puncher at 147.
I'm not just talking about elite. I'm talking about people who have great power. I don't think Kavaliauskas hits as hard as Spence. I'm not saying Spence is the greatest puncher either. I don't think he hits hard as Spence. I don't think he hits hard as a Thurman when he was back on his game.
What about Postal?
Victor Postal?
Postal got cracks. Postal got cracks.
Postal got a little crack.
Hold on. Let Blunt get in on that.
Now, all I heard was the topic of suspect chins. Now, if you want to bring that topic into this fight, it's valid for Manny Pacquiao because we've seen Manny eat canvas. So that can come up in this fight because of Spence's power. But I wouldn't ever put Spence in the category of suspect chin because we haven't seen him really.
They were saying on that level. We're talking about Bud.
We was talking about Bud. You talking about Bud?
Oh, chin wise, his chin ain't suspect. Who had him rock? Who even
had him rock?
I don't think he had him rock. I
think he got knocked down against a puncher who's not the greatest puncher.
But guess what? Sean Porter's got a great chin, but he got dropped by Broner.
Yeah, but Sean Porter has faced people who hit hard and it went.
Bro, things can happen, bro. You can get dropped by guys that got power.
This is boxing, but what we're saying, I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is Bud has shown vulnerability against punchers who weren't even the greatest punchers. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on, bro. But you keep saying that, bro. You keep saying that, but outside of Gamboa, who?
But who has he fought? That's a great puncher. That's what I'm.
But you're feeding right into my point though. You
No,
said
but that's what.
that he was.
But that's my
You said
point.
his chin was suspect, bro. Right?
That's what I'm
You
saying. Suspect. I get the definite. The
right.
word I'm using, suspect, not proving suspect. It has to be tested. Suspect.
But you're going off of one example. That's my
I didn't go
point.
off
That's
of
why I
one
said.
example.
Who else? That's why I asked you.
I
Like
said
who else?
Gamboa. I said Cavaliauskas.
Those are the same two that I mentioned.
You said one example. That's what I
No.
But either way, bro, he fought Postal, innit? He fought Postal, and Postal didn't even nearly rock him.
I guess my point. I guess Lenore. I guess my point is, if Bud Chin is suspect, he would have at least one debatable fight. That's I guess that's my point. Like for him to have no debatables, I find it hard to believe that he is suspect. Now, if you want to say
he brought up Anthony Joshua, and that's a good point. But Anthony Joshua, we've seen Anthony Joshua hurt. That's the difference.
What you say? I cut
hold
off.
on, he didn't. Nah, he didn't hear me. So no, I said the only point I want to make, because I see why you're saying it. Like you're curious. I think you're curious.
That's what I'm saying. It's suspect.
You're curious.
Yes, it's suspect.
Shane, mute vlog real quick.
1 second. I'm literally sending a text. Alright. This phone is so damn slow.
Go ahead, Lenore. Go ahead. Lenore?
No, I just pretty much said what I said, that it's suspect. I would love to see him go against people who really hit hard, because he has shown that to be a little bit wobbly against people who are not weak, I wouldn't say feather fisted, but mediocre, decent or mediocre. I would like to see his
so can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Right.
Why can't you just accept that as an anomaly? That's my point. Why can't you just accept that as an anomaly? That's my point.
Because okay, fine. And I'll explain it to you. When you compare it to other welterweights in the division, Danny Garcia's not an anomaly, and he has a lot of fights. Keith Thurman, he has almost 30 fights, and he hasn't been an anomaly yet. So what are we really saying here? That's what I'm saying. This is not an anomaly. This is not an anomaly. This is not an anomaly.
Keith Thurman's been dropped. And so was Sean.
Against Manny Pacquiao, and early in his career. So we can, if you want. Yes, he was knocked down early in his career. But again,
and wasn't Gamboa early in his career?
But we know Manny Pacquiao can crack though. So that's not even.
Manny Pacquiao's a proven puncher. Can I ask you a question? We don't even know whether
Cavaliauskas is a proven puncher or not.
Can I ask you a question? Wait, one second.
You can ask me all the questions. Go ahead. Go ahead and ask me a question.
Can Adrian Broner crack?
No, not at 147.
Okay, so why did he drop Sean Porter?
Because that was a flash knockdown. But hold on. Wait. Gathering data.
Shane, you gotta let him go. Let him go. Shane,
different.
Let him go.
You gotta let me go, man.
Go ahead, Lenore. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Sean Porter. I'm going. He's faced fighters. Porter has faced fighters that can crack. We know that, and he's proven up to the test. That's what I'm saying. Terrance, but Crawford, on the other hand, we don't know that yet. And from the data we do have, he has shown a little bit of vulnerability against punchers who were not elite or punchers who were great punchers. That's my point. That's why I say it's suspect. It's not quite proven yet. It showed. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have a chin. I wouldn't be surprised if he does have a chin. That's what I'm saying. At least with Porter, we have information. We know he can stand the test of time. But go ahead.
Okay. Shane, let me just ask this one question, and then I'm gonna let you go. Is it safe to say that you're curious because of the Gamboa fight? Are you curious about Bud's chin because of the Gamboa fight? Lenore?
You talking about me or Shane?
No, I'm talking to you.
Oh, yeah, I'm curious I'm curious about the Gamboa fight, and I'm curious about the Cavalier-Oscars fight. I'm curious. That's why I say
Okay.
suspect. I'm curious.
No, that's cool. So let me throw this at you real quick. So the Mean Machine fight. A lot of people felt like that was a knockdown. I think we can all say that Bud wasn't like hurt. Okay, so we're gonna put that to the side real quick, right? If I told you that I've seen Terrance Bud Crawford and Errol Spence knees buckle the same amount of times in their career, would you believe me?
Yeah, if you just said it, I give every man the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt if you said that. I would believe you.
No, I got you. So Errol Spence had a fight. He wasn't even 10 fights in, right? I think it was Emmanuel Larte. And that fight was on ESPN.
Emmanuel Larte, and he got rocked.
He got rocked with that shot. So I'm asking you this because I want to feed into your point, just to make sure I'm on the same page with you. So that's the only time I ever seen Spence legs buckle. The Gamboa fight is the only fight that I seen Bud legs literally buckle. So my question to you is, because you've seen Errol Spence against better guys, you're less curious about Spence than you are Bud. Is that a fair statement?
Because I've seen Spence in there with a little bit harder punchers, and he's proven.
So that's
what I'm saying.
Right. So that's a very so what I just said is a fair statement, correct?
Yeah, if that's what you said that better guys. I'm saying harder. I said punches, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So you've seen Spence with quote unquote harder punchers, so you're less curious about Spence's chin than Bud's, correct?
Yes, I'm less curious.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Shane, go.
So this is my point. Yes, the reason why I'm not even going to address I'm going to look at it why I'm not curious about. I might be curious, but I'm not. I don't worry about it. Two reasons. I've watched a lot of fights, so many fights where fighters are fighting guys who are not punchers and have just been hit by a shot and they've proven to have good chins. And fighters who have less power have hit them with a shot that's whoa, and they've got their attention. Either they buckled or they dropped. I've seen it many times. So to me, I just look at Terrance Crawford's career and I say that situation to me was an anomaly. But I'll go even deeper. When Gamboa was dropped, I think it was the exact same. No, when Gamboa was hurt, Crawford, I think it was the exact same round. He got dropped in it. So I have to ask myself, how hurt was Crawford? And I look at Kavaliauskas. The round after, Crawford was weighing in Kavaliauskas the round after. So I have to ask myself, how hurt was Crawford? Now, I'm not saying he can't get hit with a good shot. I've never said that. And I'm not saying he can't get hurt neither. I'm not saying that. But for someone to have a suspicious chin, and I'm glad you brought up AJ, because AJ is an example. I've seen AJ hurt several times, and he's only had just over 20 fights. And I've seen him hurt several times. Crawford's had double that amount of fights, and he's been hurt twice. And I don't even know how hurt he was, because in those same rounds, he was able to hurt or drop his opponent. So when I look at it, and I just have to think, maybe they were just anomalies. Now, to answer your question about power, I saw when he fought Victor Postal, and if a guy had a suspect chin, to me, he ain't trying to walk Victor Postal down after he just saw what Victor Postal just done. To me, if a guy had a suspect chin, and this was an Ndongo who's never had a loss, so hindsight's 2020, but at the time, Ndongo just knocked out that Russian cat in one round, in like 1 minute. He walked him down. His first fight at 147, if a guy had a suspect chin, he ain't trying to walk down Jeff Horn. If you had a suspect chin, the one person who will know you have a suspect chin is yourself. You will know it yourself. That, you know what, I'm going to try to avoid punches because my chin ain't too sturdy. I'm going to know that. David Price is one. He fights like a guy who's got a suspect chin. Crawford don't fight like a dude that's got a suspect chin. So when I put all of those ingredients into a pot, 1 second, the ingredients are the fact that he wasn't that hurt, because he can't be that hurt if he dropped the fighter in the same round. He also, at the fact that in 40 fights, he's never been counted down, I have to argue. I have to ask why is his chin suspect? I don't question it. I just see it as an anomaly.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why the anomaly part, that's the part I don't agree with. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's just suspect. It could be not a suspect chin. But what I'm saying is, we have seen him in these vulnerable positions against, again, like I said, against people who are not the greatest of punchers. And that's what I'm saying. That's what that comes into question.
Can I ask you a question?
I would love to see him take a shot against somebody like a straight shot. Hold on, no. Let me finish what I gotta say, please. I would love to see Crawford fight against a puncher like take a straight punch from a person like a Pacquiao or a person like a Spence, or maybe even a person like Thurman. Even though I believe his powers went down, but even a person like a Thurman, I would love to see that. Like a person like Ortiz, like a person like Boots Ennis. I just love to see it. It's just, I'm not saying it's weak. That's not what I'm saying. Maybe he does have a solid chin. It's just he has shown to be at least a bit vulnerable against punchers. I'm curious, I guess, because he has shown against punchers who don't hit hard. So it makes you go like, I'm curious. That's why I say suspect.
He's curious. He's curious.
Curious,
basically curious and suspect.
At least you can say yes, and at least I have enough data. I'm not just coming just saying it. I have enough data to at least can say, okay, this is why I think it's curious.
Why you're curious? Okay, no, that's fair enough. Let me get through the rest of these comments real quick. Pac says Spence has to reach down to hit Pac-Man on the body. Pac will counter him left hook all night. That's easier said than done. Pac, don't forget Pac is a headhunter. But he do good body work too, though.
There's a common saying, don't play body shots with headshots. That's a common saying.
Yeah. We got somebody new in here, Triple Single. That's funny. Big shout out to Triple Single, man. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to BoxingFirst Vlog as well. He says Sean Porter definitely walked forward all night long. Go back and watch that fight. Errol stepped back just as much as Porter did. Let me address that real quick. So what happened in that fight?
Jesus Christ. We're never going to finish this. These comments. Go on.
So basically, I think what Errol Spence was doing in the Sean Porter fight, it took him pretty much half of the fight to find out how many steps he got to take back to get himself in the range to counter what Sean Porter was doing. That's different than actually just backing up or like giving up space. I think what Spence was doing footwork wise against Sean Porter was trying different things to try to figure out what was the best way to get his shots off. That was actually how he was able to get the knockdown, because he couldn't do just one thing the entire time. It was some instances where taking a full step back was the best move. There was other times where taking a half step back was the best move. That's why I said Spence is really good at his base, because he showed me in that Porter fight, he was able to figure a guy out that he usually doesn't, run into. But let me continue. Let me get through these comments. Also, Porter used a lot of pivot movements. That fight was close. It could have been a tie. Imagine with Pac-Man now with better footwork and crazy angles. I'm going to get that in a second. Also, Porter, no, that's the same comment. He put that down twice. Triple Single. How can you logically say Boots Ennis is more proven puncher than Victor Postal coming off of a Matisse loss? I don't know who said that. Who said that? Did somebody say that while I was gone or something?
No, it was the fact that he obviously he said he wants to see him fight, get hit flush by Jaron Ennis, and he fought Victor Postal. That's what he was saying.
Okay. All right, fair enough. There's only one more left. You don't need to win to have power. Rocky, can you get more specific about that? Because
you don't need to win to have power, but Jeff,
I don't know what he means.
You mean you don't have to have power to win?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he means. Yeah. Hold on. Let Vlog get in.
You don't have to have power to win. That's what he meant.
I think that's what he meant. Let Vlog get in real quick.
I just wanted to chime in on that comment real quick. He was talking about a Paulie Malignaggi type of guy. You know what I mean? When he said that comment. That's what I got.
Yeah, fair enough.
So go back and do your thing, baby.
Okay. Jeff, let me ask you a question, And I asked, 1 second, let me get rid of that. I asked Leonard this question as well. Name me one chinny fighter that walks forward and tries to walk their opponents down.
Amir Khan.
What
Amir
fight have
Khan.
you seen? I ain't seen Amir Khan walk
Khan.
fighters down. I've never seen that in my life. What fight?
I saw him. I've seen when he did it against Danny Garcia and Canelo.
Walk Canelo down.
No, he tried to move forward on Danny Garcia and Canelo. He tried to move. He was moving forward on them because he was getting happy. He was out blocking them, and then what happened? Boom! Got hit with a shot. Bam!
I didn't see him. I didn't see him walk. I didn't see him walk.
Can let me get into that real quick.
Okay.
Lennar, I'm gonna kind of add on to what you said. I'm not gonna say I've never seen Amir Khan walk anybody down. What I have seen, he does fight like somebody that has a good chin. He thinks he has a good chin, and the reason I say that is because I'm not gonna say he doesn't walk guys down. What he does is he stays in the pocket a lot. And so guys that stay in the pocket, they tend to seem like they got a good chin. So I see where you're coming from with that.
There's a reason for why. Let's keep it real. There's a reason for why Amir Khan stays in the pocket. I'll get to you, Blunt, 1 second. There's a reason for why Amir Khan stays in the pocket a lot, and he does what you literally just described. Is because Amir Khan's main attributes is throwing punches. So in his mind, getting off punches is how he's going to get success. But he doesn't fight like he has a strong. But my question was, who have you seen with a bad chin, that walks fighters down? That's my question.
But that goes. But I'm gonna get to that. But that goes against what you said.
Almost goes hand in hand. That's what I'm saying. That goes hand in hand. That goes hand in hand.
Staying in the pocket is not walking the fighter down.
No, it's not. It's not.
Hold
on. Vlog, go ahead. Vlog. Go ahead.
Let me get up out of here, gentlemen. Great conversation. Good to chop with the homie learner. Appreciate all the input. Shane, you was wrong today. You lost this one. It's all love, baby. I'ma holler at y'all soon, man. Salute all the boxing
bro. I'm gonna hit you up, bro.
Big love.
All right. That's my guy right there, man. Well, Shane, go ahead, bro.
You know, I'm waiting for someone to answer me the question. I said walk a fighter down. I did not say stay in the pocket. I said walk a fighter down.
That doesn't even make sense what you just said, man. That's the whole argument right there. Is that
I asked the question. Name a fighter.
If you want to say walking, if you want to say walking down, that again, I'm still gonna have to say Amir Khan. Again, walking down, you're putting the pressure to knock somebody out, right? To beat somebody up, and that's what Amir Khan does. But it seems
he doesn't. Okay, no, he doesn't. I've seen.
Hey, G5, man, I'm about to get up out of here, man. I'm gonna be at work soon, so I'll holler.
Okay. Hey, man, I appreciate you, bro.
You too.
I appreciate you. Go ahead, Shane.
Sure. I've never seen him make a walk a fighter down. Walk a fighter down. I've never seen that in my life. And he said Canelo. Staying in the pocket and walking a fighter down you couldn't be more. That's two different things. Walking a fighter down is when you're trying to walk through a person's punches. I've never seen Amir Khan do that.
Walking a guy down and staying in the pocket is two different things.
Let me tell you the truth. If Amir Khan was trying to walk fighters down, he'll get knocked out in the first round against everyone. If he was trying to walk fighters down, I've never seen him do that before. I've seen people actively walk fighters down.
Yeah, I would say, a guy. When I see a guy walking somebody down, I like to call it going in a bully move. I've never seen Amir Khan go in a bully move. Now, what I'll say is, if Amir Khan hurts somebody, he's going in for the kill. That's different than going in a bully move. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between the two. But Rocky Rodriguez says, I was responding to another person's comment. Got you. Hold on. At Jeff, you skipped like a million comments, bro. What did I skip?
No.
Did I skip?
You skipped a lot. He skipped a lot, but it's cool. He skipped
Did
a
I?
lot.
Did I?
Yeah. Yeah.
My bad. My bad. I actually want to go back and read them. Lenora saying Amir Khan walked down Canelo is hilarious. Yeah, he definitely didn't walk down. I seen what he was trying to say, dude. You know the one thing I noticed about Lenario, like he'll say something and then he has his own definition to it. So it's like he'll try to clean it up after he says it, and that's when it kind of turns. So like take for example, like the hold on a second, Shane. Take for example, like the Terrance Crawford and the suspect thing. I knew he was curious. He was just using the word suspect. So I'm like, I got a better feel for what Lenara's lingo is. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
I get what you mean, but I'm just again, this is I'm not gonna act like Blunt basically said it. Like, I don't act like I know more about boxing than anyone. I don't actually act like that. If I'm wrong, I always put my hands up and say that I'm wrong. I've watched literally.
Hold on, bro. That's a good one. We got a good one, bro. Rocky Rodriguez, Trinidad, also chinny and walk fighters down. That is a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact. That is a good one. God damn, that was a good one.
But you know what I would say about that, and that's the only thing I would say about that with Trinidad was with Trinidad, it was kind of, it's similar to what's it called? What's that dude's name? Greatest power puncher of all time. What's his name? A middleweight power puncher of all time. I'm looking at his face right now. Someone help me out. Jeff, help me out. Greatest middleweight power puncher of all time.
You talking about hold on. Don't say it. Wait a minute.
I can't remember.
Hold on, no, because he got the box. He got the box.
Yeah. Someone help me.
Oh my God, hold on. Cause somebody gonna say it in the comment section, and I don't want to see that shit. Oh my goodness. I see now. I gotta Google it, and I'm embarrassed. I gotta Google this.
Someone said. I know who it is as well. I'm so pissed off.
Hold on a second.
You fought Joe McClellan.
Yeah.
I have to ask my brother. I'm gonna ask my brother.
I have to.
Julian Jackson.
Yes, Julian Jackson. Yes.
Thank you to my brother.
I'm embarrassed. I couldn't think of his name. The
Had to
Hulk.
ask my brother one time.
Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Triple single taking shots. Hold on. But I like it though. Hold on. Let me
click it then.
No, hold on. He's confusing. I want to make sure I ain't skipping no more comments. He's confusing ring generalship. Hold on. Yeah, he's confusing ring generalship for walking a fighter down. I agree with that. Conrad Boxing, walking Canelo down implies that Canelo backed off. Yeah, and Canelo didn't back off in that fight. Pac, LOL, Mexican style, move forward, Shane.
That's what I mean. Like, move forward like a Mexican.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Yeah,
maybe
Lenar.
When I don't know, I've never seen it.
Triple Single said Lenar is a casual, to be honest. Saying Bud should fight a proven puncher like Boots, and saying AB's drop on Sean Porter was a flash knockdown. People need to rewatch that knockdown. Nothing flash about it. Look who stepped in.
Who's that?
My bro Will. What's going on? We just talked about you yesterday. Well,
you know what's so funny about Will? Will is the death. I'm not gonna lie, Will. Me and you are always at it, but I have to go at you. I feel like you're a little bit nervous. You've been in the live the whole time, and you just don't like going on live.
Bro, why you don't come on live with everybody else?
No.
You know I ain't gonna let nobody pick at you, bro.
This is not really my my area to speak on. I don't have enough. I don't really have the knowledge to talk on this.
That's okay,
bro. That's okay to come on to.
That's why I love Will.
That's okay though. Like but the thing is, bro, you can be on the show and just mute yourself. Like you don't have to. Like sometimes we just want you in the building. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to get out of your lane or anything like that. It's just like we talk on Instagram, we talk on in the comment section, and sometimes we just want you in the building. Like just because you're in the building don't mean you gotta voice your opinion the entire time. Like you can still stay in your comfort zone, but it'd be good if you just jump in sometimes. Just you know what I'm saying, just to be in. Take a slot. You family. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. Yeah.
That's all. That's
Yeah,
all.
I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I
And
appreciate
ain't
it.
nobody,
I
and
appreciate
I
it.
ain't gonna let nobody bother you anyway.
You know what? So real don't. It's not even that. Jeff's a liar. You know why Jeff's a liar? Why he won't let anyone bother me the whole day, the whole life. Everybody, it was me versus the world, and I don't mind that because
Listen.
this is the difference,
Shane-
though. Yeah, I ain't
Shane
ever
is
gonna
different.
have 1 second. I ain't ever gonna have someone say I lost the debate, and the person who I'm debating can't say I lost. I'll let the people who's commenting, watching, decide. The person I'm debating can't say I lost.
Shane, listen. Shane been going at it with people since the first day he stepped on the channel. So I haven't had a chance to defend Shane because he's always going at it with somebody. Somebody's actually always coming at him. Shane makes a lot of general statements. They don't be targeted towards nobody, and then somebody just come in the comment section and be like, "Yo, Shane dumb. Shane stupid. Like Shane don't know what the hell he talking about." Like, you know what I mean?
You know the truth, though. You know the truth is, yeah. This is the. Before I let Will go, this is the painful truth that it comes down to, yeah. I just feel like many people don't listen to what I'm saying. They just see who's saying it and then they make their opinion. They don't allow my words to even enter their ears. They just look at me and they say, okay, this guy's young, so I'm not going to take what this guy's saying on board. That's basically what happens. Because today, when I was talking about Castano and Beterbiev, the only person who recognized what I was saying was Jeff. Because he's the only one who was listening to what I was saying. Nobody else was listening to me. So it was like, there's no point in me even speaking because they're not even going to listen to what I'm saying. So there's not even a point.
Yeah, okay. I hear what you're saying.
So
I hear what you're saying.
what you got to say, brother?
I just wanted to say, like, regarding the chin stuff, like, I feel like there's a very big difference between a suspicious chin and a weak chin. Like when you mention like Khan has a bad chin. That's not suspicious. We know that that's bad. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, for example, like for me, I feel like Wilder has a suspicious chin. You know, I feel like we've seen Wilder hurt by guys that you probably shouldn't be getting hurt by. Like, you know, we've seen him hurt by Eric Molina. We've seen him hurt by guys like this. And Ortiz, Spilka, you know.
Tyson
Fury.
Yeah.
Actually, Brazil hurt him too.
Yeah,
Oh,
Brazil.
yeah.
But the thing, Brazil can crack though.
Yeah, Brazil can crack. Mm-hmm.
He can crack. I don't know about that.
Bro, Shane, if he couldn't crack, he wouldn't be in the top 50. He can crack.
True.
The reason he's got to where he was, he can crack. Go ahead.
That's the only reason why he's there, because he can't.
That's true. That's exactly my point.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead,
I feel like you know, I don't know if you could say he has a bad chin. I mean, but then again, like I feel like determining like how good someone's chin is kind of, people judge it on different things. Like for me, I normally judge it on like how easily do you become hurt, but some people more judge it on like how quickly do you recover. So like, for example, a lot of people probably say Fury has a better chin than AJ, but I would probably say it's the other way around. Like I feel like AJ can take more punishment without going down than Fury can, but we've seen that when AJ gets hurt, he takes a lot longer to recover than Fury does. So some people, I think, kind of.
You know how I look at it, and I'll be honest. I more look at it. A chin is different ways in it, because I saw AJ. He didn't hurt Parker once, not once in a fight. But Derek Chisora dropped Parker. Dylan White dropped Parker. and Dylan White hurt Parker several times in the fight. When I look at it and I'm thinking, I don't think none of them have the power of AJ, but it's just some fighters, they just get hit with certain shots. So when I was talking about the Crawford thing, this is the painful truth about Crawford. When he fought Gamboa, I said, Jeff, you didn't hear this. I said, I have to hold everything against, all of my worries about Crawford's chin. I have to throw it away because whilst he got hurt against Gamboa, or supposedly hurt against Gamboa, the same round he supposedly got hurt, he dropped him right after. So how hurt was Crawford? When you talk about Kavalauskas, the next round he literally came out and destroyed Kavalauskas. He absolutely just teed off on him. So how hurt was he? If he was hurt, he wouldn't be able to do that. That's what I'm saying. He wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, I don't know.
Let me get in. Hold on. Let me get in here real quick, and then Will, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Yo, I'm sorry. I'm still mad. I skipped a bunch of comments. I'm still pissed off about that shit. You know, I take pride in that shit, Shane. But like, take Floyd Mayweather for example. Like, Will, what's your opinion of Floyd Mayweather's chin?
I feel like he has a good chin.
Shane?
I think Floyd had a good chin, yeah.
Okay. So Floyd has a good chin, and he's top 5 defensively all time. Can we all agree on that?
Facts.
Yes.
Okay. So I can name you about 5 different times he was completely rocked.
Right? Yeah, so can I yes.
Maidana twice. Shane Mosley twice. Zab Judah. Oh my God, what's my bro name? 40 minutes. First. That's 6. Maidana.
But I wouldn't say he was rocked like he was gonna get knocked out. Like that, I wouldn't say he was that sense. Did
we say Maidana already? We said
Maidana, but I wouldn't. None of those I would say, other than maybe Mosley, did I think he was gonna get knocked out. Like you can be hurt, but to get knocked out is a completely different thing.
Yeah, but
like,
that's what I'm saying.
Like fighters can't get hurt with a good shot. It's boxing, of course you can get hurt with a good shot.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like we're talking about somebody top 5 all time defensively, and I'll even take it as far back as the Chop Corley fight. Chop Corley, he was hurt in that fight as well. I said all that to say this. Like, whether a person has a good chin or not is kind of subjective. Like, it really depends on who you ask. Like, but we can all come in agreement on who has bad chins.
Yeah.
Like, we can all agree on who has the bad chins. But the ones that has the good ones is a combination of how much does it take for them to get hurt and then the recovery time. So somebody mentioned Wilder. Like, Wilder's got a shaky chin. I look at the heavyweight division and I'm like, I look at more of can they recover and the recovery time. It's the heavyweight division. Like everybody can crack at heavyweight. But but the way I look at that compared to maybe 140 or 135 or 122 is completely different. I'm probably looking more like what does it take for you to get hurt? You know what I mean? So it's really kind of subjective. You know what I'm saying? Like it really is subjective. Will, go ahead.
Melina can crack too. Gerald Washington had Wilder shook up a bit before the KO as well, that's but heavyweight chins are different scale. Exactly, that's a fact. Conrad, that's true. Rocky Rodriguez, Danny Garcia, Margarito, Canelo, Mayweather, B-Hop all had great chins. Facts. Best chin at heavyweight probably belongs to Joe Joyce. I'm not gonna lie, you know who I think has a great chin as well, and I think he's just so underrated. Well, his chin's underrated. He's not a great fighter. He's a very bad fighter, but Marius Wack. Marius Wack has a ridiculously strong chin.
Yeah, Wack's chin is crazy.
Ridiculously strong.
He got a top 3 chin at heavyweight.
No, listen, you know who has a world level chin, and you guys might laugh at this. Dave Allen.
No, yeah, everybody knows that.
Dave Allen chin is crazy.
The amount of
remember when he fought Tony Yoka, Jeff? He got absolutely pummeled in that Tony Yoka fight.
Yeah.
Joshua
Claudia had a
yeah.
good chin. Yeah.
I think the boy had Joyce hurt a few times. I don't think he had him hurt. It's just Joe Joyce is so disorientated when he fights. When he gets hit with a shot, he just looks out of place. I don't think he was hurt.
He was I don't want to say he was hurt. He definitely buzzed him. He definitely got his attention a couple times. For
Pac
sure.
says, relax, Shane. I'm not gonna lie,
Yo,
Pac. I'm gonna put a copyright infringement on my name from Pac saying it because this guy just keeps saying my name. I don't know. Every time he says he needs to pay me some money, some royalties.
Hold on, hey Pac, you've been on this show we done been on for 2.5 hours, bro. I done had the link in the description for over at least an hour and a half, bro. You got to come on one day and go at it with Shane. Y'all got to figure out.
I don't know what he disagrees with me over. That's the thing I don't understand.
I don't know. Let me get to this, Conrad. If you fought yourself, you know that how much you can get hurt by a punch depends on your stance. If you put tension on your muscles at the right time and such. If you want to get technical, that's correct. Pac, anyone in heavyweights can KO you. Those punches are like hammers. That's true. I agree with that. That's why I had the opinion that I have as far as somebody having a weak chin or a strong chin in heavyweight. Yeah, man. Shane, it's been damn near 2 hours and 40 minutes, man. We gonna close this thing out, man. Like it's crazy. Will, do you have any final thoughts? And we appreciate you jumping on for sure, man.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to say quickly, Conrad, coming at AJ with that Usyk comment earlier. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I take that one. I don't know how I take that one. I mean, listen, I actually give Usyk a AJ's my guy. AJ's my favorite fighter, but I give Usyk a good chance. I'm not gonna lie. I'm worried about that fight, but I do think Joshua will beat him. Probably on points.
Let's ask Jeff. Let's see how consistent Jeff is. Do you give Usyk a good chance, Jeff?
He's got a shot. Yeah, he definitely has a shot. And I know
how much percent wise?
It's a 60-40 fight.
That's what I would say as well.
It's a 60-40 fight.
Personally, when you add into the equation, and Eddie Hearn said this, Jeff, so it wasn't me. He said AJ's been training for Fury. That's what he said. For 3 months, AJ's been training for Fury. When you add that into the equation, I have to say it's a 50-50 fight. Because you've been training for a guy that's 6'9" and an orthodox fighter.
But see, I think that one fact doesn't equate to giving him an extra 10% chance.
You don't go from fighting Fury to fighting Usyk. That is not transferable.
But you act like he's fighting them on short notice.
That's true. That's a very good
Also,
point.
he would have been focusing on movement as well and sparring and stuff. So, and that applies.
But he wouldn't be fighting a southwpaw. So that's just the difference.
Yeah, if he has proper time to prepare for Usyk, I don't think that's a problem.
Fury doesn't have Usyk movement. Fury actually has quite rudimental, basic movement. He just has very good dimensions. His movement's actually quite not that good.
I think the reason why I think AJ wins that fight, I think he's the best offensive fighter at heavyweight in terms of punch variety. He has the best offensive variety. So there's a lot of things that AJ can bring to the table that Usyk is not used to dealing with. I'm not saying that he can't deal with it, but I'm saying he's not used to dealing with it. He's not used to guys throwing different shots at him.
If I was to put money on it, I'm going to put money on AJ. The only thing that I'm worried about is just the fact that I've never really seen AJ fight someone who's as good as Usyk at moving. But you did bring up a good point, Jeff, which was you don't know if Usyk's going to get away with moving in that fight, which is a good point.
In terms of now, see, any other fight, if he does that stuff, they're going to give him the rounds. This is AJ we talking about here. I don't think he can go in there with his typical game plan and they're going to give him rounds. Because just as much as we know there's 150
do you think Usyk has power?
Shane, you want to answer that?
I think he has enough. He has deterrent. He doesn't have like a great deterrent power, but he's not. I don't think he's got. If I had to rate it out of 10, I'd probably say it's like a 5 or maybe a 4.
I mean, he did actually shake Chisora up a bit, you know, a couple times.
That was more down to his Chisora being so tired. The thing is, the reason why I don't think that matters in this fight is because AJ is not a walk-through punches type fighter, and Usyk won't be trying to knock AJ out. So power, whilst it's a big part, AJ don't walk through punches. So it will be very much a chess match early. Whether AJ can land his jab, straight right hand, or whether Usyk can pivot off that jab and pull the straight right hand and counter. That's basically what the fight's going to be. AJ is not a walk through punches type fighter to get his success. So that's kind of why I don't think it's going to matter power too much. If he was fighting Wilder, then it's a different situation, because Wilder now, I'm not saying Wilder's a walk through punches type fighter, but Wilder's so long that your punches don't really have the same torque on it. So Wilder can kind of take that extra risk.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I do think Joshua will win, but it is worrying. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not worried about Wilder at all. Like, I think Fury 100% will win that. Like, honestly, I give Wilder like a 15% chance at most. Like, I'm shocked by how many people think.
It's a good thing you're not from America, because if you're from America, everybody will be hating you right now.
Yeah, but how can you give Wilder a chance in that fight?
Because you got power.
I can. Hold on. Let me answer. Matter of fact, let me get through Conrad's comments real quick, and Will, I'm gonna address that. Conrad said 60-40. Yeah, I got you. I'm only gonna be like 5 minutes, bro. Conrad said 60-40 AJ for me. That's about right. That is why I want to see the fight, Shane. You also said such a good matchup. Now, Will, I'm gonna tell you why you got to give Wilder a chance in this fight. Number one, the power. Anybody that has that type of power, they have what they call a puncher's chance. That's number one. Number two, strategically, as weird as this may seem, Wilder does not have to do much technically to change the tide in this fight.
That does sound very
two
weird,
things.
yeah.
Now, let me tell you why, though. And Shane can agree with this. There's two things we've been asking for Wilder to do since they signed up for the first fight. And it's on record. This is on the channel. Two things. Number one, Tyson Fury is not good offensively. Like punch variety, things like that. He's overrated. The one thing that Fury does is when he leaves out the back door with his hands down. Wilder just has to follow Fury out the back door. And that's how he got the knockdowns in the first fight. He follows him out the back door. Fury's wide.
That's why that second round was so close. If you lost the second round of the second fight, that was probably the only debatable round. And that's the only round he followed him out the back door.
Yeah, and
there was one right hand he landed in that second fight. And that was what he done. The one right hand he landed in that second fight.
And the second thing that Wilder needs to do is just throw the right hand. Just throw
it.
Fury's either gonna block it or he's gonna go backwards. So those are really the only two things he has to do. Those are only two things he has to do, bro.
Will, when you go home today or tomorrow, go and watch the fight. I swear, everybody who's watching, go and watch the fight. I swear to God, every single time Wilder threw that right hand, Fury gave up real estate. Every single time. There wasn't one time where Fury saw the right hand coming and he stepped forward. Every single time he stepped back.
Will, this is a matter of whether Wilder is technically able to do those two things. That's really what this is. And that's fine. That's fine. If you believe that, that's fine. But in terms of...
That's why he needs to get me and Jeff in the corner. He needs to get me and Jeff.
He definitely needs us in camp. Because the thing is because usually when a guy is outmatched, there's not a simple answer on how to solve the problem. this is a very easy answer to solve the problem with Tyson Fury. It's a very easy answer. It's a matter of whether he has the technical skill to actually do it. That's the thing.
Wilder doesn't really. He isn't a combination puncher. So when you're saying he needs to throw the right hand, like he's not going to just. Wilder
that's
has
not a combination though.
One and
it's
he
not
has
a combination though.
It's one shot. It's just throw right hand. That's
what I'm saying is, how is he going? Like even just throwing the right hand over and over, like how is he going to chain those together?
The thing is, throw it once and then Fury gives up ground. What you want to do is stop Fury from walking you down. You throw that right hand, all of a sudden you got distance again.
Yeah, you control distance, and then it gives you the opportunity to walk forward. That's the reason why we're saying he needs to throw the right hand, because it's going to get Fury either blocking or it's going to get him backing up. Wilder's problem against Fury is that he's backing up and circling the ring. That's his problem. Wilder's not built for that. That's right up Fury's alley. So in order to get Fury, in order to get give yourself the best opportunity against Fury, you have to get him backing up. You got to remember, he's 6'9". Like, he's 6'9". That is very important.
The reason why that's so important, Jeff, is because if you're backing up, if Wilder's backing up, Wilder's arms aren't longer than Fury's. So what that means is at long range, Fury's going to be able to pepper Wilder, keep him going back. Not only that, is if Wilder stops and Fury steps in and they start to tussle, Fury's like 50 pounds heavier than Wilder. So there's only going to be one winner on a physical exchange. And as you said, Wilder's not a volume puncher, he's a single shot puncher. So that means Fury don't have to worry about anything other than a straight right hand. When you're up close, you can't throw a straight right hand because you don't get extension. So that's why he has to get Fury going in reverse. Even though Fury won a lot of rounds in the first fight when he was in reverse, he got dropped twice in reverse. So that's what you got to do. Land the money shot and go home. Wilder loses rounds against everyone, but he always lands the money shot. And he done it in that first fight. He landed the money shot. You just got to do that again.
Well, let me add this too. In order for him to land a money shot, he's not going to land a money shot backing up and circling the ring. So that's why we're saying what we're saying. Or keeping his hands in his pocket. So there are things that, very simple things that can be done from Wilder's end. And the reason I say that, Will, is because I had people saying, oh, he need to go get George Foreman. He need to get this person, that person. He need to work on his boxing skills for 2 years. No, he ain't got to do all that. 2 or 3 things, and he's right back in there. Bruce Goals, he said, I had to go out, and you still on. Salute to the fan. Yeah, bro, we done been on here damn near 3 hours. Pac said, relax, Shane. He about as bad as Yeah, he about as bad as YSM. At least YSM done made a tradition. But Conrad said right, spot on. Yeah, and the thing is, Will, another reason why you got to give Wilder a shot, like we can't forget Fury was looking at the lights in the first fight in the 12th round. And if that was any other referee, they would have waved that off. Like let's keep.
If that was in England, they would have waved that off.
They'd have waved. If it was most of the referees in the United States, they would have waved that off. He got. The fact that Jack Reese gave him the opportunity to get up was a blessing from the heavens. Let's just be real.
I feel like there's a very clear difference. Like he was on his back, but you could tell the way he went down, it was stiff. It wasn't like, the way Brazil went down, he went down all floppy. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a very clear difference. You can tell. And I saw a thing with Jack Reese actually, where he was saying how one of the things that he noticed was how Fury was holding his knee up in the air. Like you don't do that when you're unconscious. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I think that if someone was to wave that off, that would not have been.
One second, didn't Derek Chisora have his knee up when he got knocked out by Dylan White? He had one.
That is very true. That is very true.
No, he didn't. No. He was.
I'm pretty sure he did. He was late. His back was flat and one leg was flat, but I'm pretty sure he had one leg.
Check. But I'm sure both his legs are flat.
Okay. Maybe I could be wrong. But that fight was within the same month, and he didn't even count. Once Dylan White landed that left foot, it was over. It was.
I know.
Over.
I just feel like it's very. if you go and watch those, the way they go down is so different. I feel like it just
No.
the way it sounds, the way it looks when they
Hey.
hit the canvas.
Hey, Will, this is the thing. First of all, Fury, the back of his head hit the canvas. That's the first thing. Number two, he didn't move for like 5-6 seconds. He literally didn't move. So he, like, I would say 95. And then Jack Reese, this is why I said it was a blessing from the heavens. There was literally a fight a month prior.
Oh yeah, I know what fight you're
That
talking about.
Jack Reese was in that fight, and he stopped that fight. And it was and I think it was that fight that was the reason why he gave Fury a chance, because he stopped the fight with he stopped the fight. It was in the States. He stopped the fight with 1 second left, and that fight happened about a month before.
The person who stopped the fight was winning on the cards,
and he was winning on the cards.
Wow!
So there's a reason. There's a reason why we're saying what we're saying. Like, as much as people say, "Oh, well, Fury won the first fight," or "I think Fury won the first fight," I always tell people, if it wasn't for Jack Reese, I'm like, he would have lost by knockout. If that was any other referee.
For me, I think Fury won the first fight, but I never used that because personally, they fought again. So I understand some people say it was a draw. I understand people say it was a floppy glove. I understand that. That's fine. But to me, the first fight is so irrelevant because they fought again. They ran it back. And there was a clear winner to me in the second fight.
Not just to you.
Yeah, for sure.
To everyone.
Yeah, for sure. To everyone. Yeah, for sure.
No, that's a lie. That's a damn lie. That's a lie. Some people think Wilder got robbed.
Nobody
thinks the second fight. He said the second fight, bro.
Some people think Wilder got robbed in the second fight as well, bro.
Nobody thinks that Wilder got robbed.
No, people just think Fury cheated.
Yeah, he got cheated. Yeah,
right, he got cheated. Fight. Yeah, people think
Fury cheated. That's what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
The thing is like, I just want to say really quick, when you were saying that he just needs to get Fury on the back foot, Fury's beat him on the front foot, he's beat him on the back foot. And I understand what you're saying, like, he went down.
To me, he didn't beat him on the back foot. If you get knocked down twice, that's not he didn't win. You just said that you scored that fight for him though. But he didn't win. So
yeah, you did say that, Shane.
No, I know, but he didn't. But did he win? That's my point. Did he win?
But you just said he didn't win it.
I thought he won, but my opinion
doesn't matter. He did win it for you.
My opinion don't matter. My opinion don't matter.
Your opinion do matter on this live though.
I thought he won, but he didn't win. That's my point. My point is, I think he won, and I was continuously saying, I thought he won, but he didn't win. In reality, he didn't win. In my eyes, he won, but in reality, he didn't. So the reason why I'm saying that is because Wilder don't care about me. He doesn't even know that I exist. He cares about what's real. And in his eyes, in his camp, the way he got success was by doing what I just said. Back this guy at the back, follow this guy at the back door and throw right hands. That's how you win. Get this guy going backwards. That's how you win. That's basically it.
Do you think that if Fury say in the third fight he goes down and it looks the same as how it did in the first fight, do you think that they would wave it off? Or like when you're saying 95% of referees would have waved that off, seeing what he did the previous time that happened, do you think they'll wave it off, or do you think they will keep that into account?
I'll tell you what happens in the next fight. No referee ain't waving off anything. You don't know why? Because referees in the last two fights have received so much disrespect. So they're going to try to be as invisible as possible in this fight. Because they don't want to be done for the reason why this person lost or that person lost. They don't want to be part of that. Some people were blaming, I think it was Bayless who was refereeing.
Yeah,
Kenny Bayless for being drunk. Some people were saying Wilder was doing excessive holding. Some people were saying Bayless should have stopped the fight because Wilder was clearly out. Some people said Fury shouldn't have got the duck to the point. Some people were saying Fury was fighting dirty. The next referee is going to make sure he's out of that picture. He doesn't want to be in that picture at all.
Bro, you know the thing that's crazy about this third fight coming up? Like the fact that the referee is going to be invisible, that's advantage Fury. Because he's a dirty fighter. He's a dirty fighter.
Sneaking in a forearm.
That's Hold on, I want to get to this real quick. Conrad said second fight was clear, but we didn't see the best Wilder there. That's true. Now
We didn't see the best Wilder because Fury took the best Wilder away.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. That's a fact. Rocky Rodriguez, Steve
By
Willis
the way, I
is
think
the GOAT referee.
Tyson Fury was watching me and Jess live because he had to be, because we were the only people saying that's how you beat Deontay Wilder, by the way. Like I was saying, I've been saying that for so long.
We said that like over a year ago. He's like, yo, you gotta bully the bully. That's the only way you're gonna beat Wilder. You gotta bully the bully. Rocky Rodriguez, Steve Willis, GOAT referee. To be honest with you, Steve Willis would be the best referee for this fight. That's the one that make the funny faces and all that. Like,
yeah, I know.
The fight. Yeah, like I think Steve Willis
done a terrible performance last weekend, though. Was it Steve Willis that was? Was it Steve Willis that was doing?
No, that was Kenny Bayless again for Josh.
That was Bayless again.
He was
Bayless. Yo, I know we don't talk about refereeing and all that, but there's a very fine line between actually disciplining your fights and actually being too involved. There's a very thin line, and Kenny Bayless crosses that line a lot. And like, for example, like take the Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez fight. Shane, we can get off. I know you gotta get off.
Please.
Yeah, yeah, because he on fumes right now. But the thing with Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor, like when he was breaking them up and making them reset, like he was making Josh Taylor take like an extra 2 steps back. Like dumb shit like that. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like stuff like that that's like unnecessary. Like you're doing extra to make yourself seen. You know what I'm saying? In a fight. Mm-hmm. And as a referee, you cannot do that. And Kenny Bayless he gets all these big fights, and he's been doing a bad job over the past like year and a half. He's been doing a bad job. Like there's been some fights where in Jack Reese, he's hit or miss. Like refereeing Steve Willis is probably the best referee in the sport.
Look, I mean,
the best referee in the sport.
If we're looking, if we're saying we need
a I'm jumping up.
Okay, I'll end it with Will.
Okay.
All right. Shout out,
Take care, Shane.
Shout out, all right, bro. Live as well.
All right.
Take care, Shane.
All right, Shane.
Yeah, Jeff. I was just gonna say, if we're looking for a referee who's not controversial, I think we need to get my man Giuseppe from the Joshua Parker fight. I think that's the one we need for no controversy.
Oh, you know what? That's a good one.
No, I'm being sarcastic. Do you not remember that fight?
No, I'm fucking with you.
Okay. That was the worst refereeing I've ever seen.
With you, bro. I'm messing with you. Yeah,
that was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, to be honest with you, like I think hopefully the referee won't be an issue in this fight. I just want this fight to happen just because I'm just sick and tired of, you know what I mean, just the back and forth from the second fight. You know what I mean? So I just want to see a clear winner. I don't care who the winner is. I just want to see a clear winner. Let me get through these last 2 comments before we get up out of here. They shall all be made to study Arthur McCanty. Google him, the real GOAT referee. Arthur McCanty was very good. Bruce said, peace, Shane. He said, I should go too. I need to work tomorrow. Appreciate you, Conrad. I'm just glad we got some good heavyweight action this summer. Yeah, we definitely got some good action this summer. I'll have to catch this replay. The show was cooking when I had to dip. Yeah, man, this joint was definitely cooking. And this is a part 2. Yesterday was so good. We had to come on again just for Pacquiao and Spence, but obviously we jumped into a bunch of other topics. But we are going to sign off with that. We will be back on tomorrow. We definitely have to talk Haney and Linares this week. We got to get them some love, show them a little bit of shine.
We got to talk about Errol as well.
Yes, we got to talk about that fight as well. So we got some pretty good action this weekend. So we got a lot to cover, but we're going to be live the rest of the week. So that's tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. So we'll have plenty to talk about. Will, we appreciate you jumping on, man. We really do.
Yes. Thank you very much.
No problem. And we gonna of course we gonna chat on Instagram and all that good stuff. But make sure you tap in tomorrow. I'll send you the link, and if you want to jump on, you got the green light.
Cool. Thank you very much.
All
By the
right.
way, I just want to ask you one quick question. If Wilder beats Fury, do you think Undisputed will happen anytime soon, or do you think it's done? Because I think it's probably done.
No, I don't think it's gonna happen. Strictly because you got to go through Al Haymon for that. So I think the problem with it is you got to think about it this way. AJ and Fury have been negotiating for God knows how long, right?
Yeah.
And they announced that fight was done 4 times. Think about it. Now, Fury lost the arbitration to Wilder. They had a verbal agreement and a written agreement within 7 days.
Yeah.
But nobody finds that ironic. You understand what I'm saying? So it is what it is, but I think the reason why Wilder and AJ doesn't happen is because Al Haymon understands the value of that fight. So I think he's going to overplay his hand, and I just don't see it. I don't see it happening, but I hope I'm wrong.
I think you're right. I definitely think you're right.
Yeah. Pac said, drink some water. He said, you guys been talking for almost 3 hours. Yeah, it has been 3 hours. We getting off this joint, man.
Okay.
But Pac, the thing that's crazy, you've been on here for all 3 hours. He just said, and hold on, Conrad said Usyk and Wilder would happen though. That
I doubt it.
Hell no, that ain't happening.
Usyk is a nightmare for Wilder.
Yeah, that's a nightmare matchup for Wilder. If Wilder don't hit Usyk with the money shot, Usyk wins that fight 12-0.
Yeah, or he lets stop him late even. I could see him stopping him late.
He wins that 12-0. That's a nightmare matchup for you thought Fury was a bad style matchup. Usyk is a horrible style matchup for Wilder.
Yeah.
But y'all keep on throwing these comments in, man. And y'all know I've been trying to get up out of here for the past half hour, man. I'm not gonna let y'all get away with that shit no more. So listen, on behalf of my guy Will, VP Shane, BoxingFirst Vlog, G5 Jeff TV, we are out.
Take care.
All right, you guys.